Welcome to the Digging Deep ATVMX podcast with your host, Cody Jansen.
Am I on air? What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Cody Jansen, and welcome to episode 33 of the Digging Deep ATVMX podcast presented by Cst Tires. We have a star-studded lineup on the show tonight where we'll cover everything that happened at Lake Sugar Tree, give you some insight into ATV racing from the past, the present, and into the future, and so much more along the way. Joel Hetrick needed a win in the worst way, and he completed a perfect day at Lake Sugar Tree. We have the reigning champ coming right up to talk about yet another imminent battle between himself and Chad Wienen with just 5 motos remaining. We'll get into some pro stock talk, which so many of you have wanted to hear, and so much more with the champ. Then we have former pro rider turned Team 96Nine team manager, mechanic, trainer, and whatever else you want to label him as, Travis Moore coming on. His rider, pro rookie Logan Stanfield, may have been the second biggest story coming out of Lake Sugar Tree, where he earned his first career pro class top 5 finish. Travis is full of so much passion and has turned into a true staple of the industry, so I'm stoked to have him join us. We'll complete our coverage of the last event before welcoming on our next guest. We'll briefly talk about his 50th career podium that he earned at Lake Sugar Tree, but there's an even more important topic to discuss, of course. A few weeks back, TBrown stunned the ATV racing world when he announced that he'd be calling it a career at the end of this season. We're going to get him on to ask him what led him to making such a difficult decision, take us inside his thinking, and see if there's anything left that he'd like to accomplish in these last 5 motos of what's been a very successful career. Finally, our last guest is going to be a key player in the future of ATV motocross. The last time we had Max Lindquist on, he had just won the season opener in Pro-Am, his 450cc national debut. The 16-year-old has now reeled off 6 consecutive Pro-Am overall wins and wrapped up the 2020 Pro-Am National Championship last weekend at Lake Sugar Tree, with 2 events still remaining. We'll talk to Max about his season and get the inside scoop on when we can expect to see him make his AMA ATV Pro Class debut. Can't wait for that. What a lineup tonight. I truly believe that this may be the most informative and insightful show we've ever done, so get ready to dig deep. But first, let's hear a quick word from all the great sponsors that make this podcast possible. Thanks to our title sponsor, Cst Tires, csttires.com. The Pulse MXR tire is the best tire on the market no matter what the terrain. Join the CST takeover today or prepare to be beat by someone who did. Cst Tires, where passion meets the ground. Thank you to Motorsports Powerhouse and show sponsor, Yamaha. We are proud to be partnered with the winningest manufacturer of the past decade in ATV motocross and the #1 OEM supporter of ATV racing. The Digging Deep ATVMX podcast is Team Blue Crew. Thank you, Yamaha. Check them out at YamahaOutdoors.com. Thanks to another member of Racing Royalty and longtime sponsor of my personal racing efforts, Valvoline. For over 150 years, Valvoline has been dedicated to innovating and improving your riding and driving experience. The world's oldest oil company still leads the charge with unrivaled products and lubricants. Thanks to Team Valvoline for coming on board. Thank you to SSI Decals. SSI Decals is the decal choice of champions everywhere and is synonymous with the best decals and graphics kits on the market. Their track record speaks for itself. Champions choose SSI Decals for unmatched look and quality. Thanks to those guys. Check them out today at SSIDecals.com. It's an absolute honor to be partnered with Wienen Motorsports. We all know him as one of the toughest competitors ATV motocross has ever seen, and Chad Wienen has built quite the business within the industry as well. The same products he handpicked to help him win 6 AMA ATV Pro National Championships are available to you through Wienen Motorsports. Simply put, he sells what he races. So head over to WienenMotorsports.com to see everything they have to offer and use promo code DIGDEEP to save at checkout. Thanks to Chad Wienen and Wienen Motorsports for further legitimizing everything we're doing here at Digging Deep. It's an absolute honor. Thank you to DID Racing Chain and their 520 ATV2 X-Ring chain. Team USA, Joel Hetrick, and myself trusted DID's unrivaled chain quality all the way to championship victory this past season. Wherever you go, go with DID. We are proud to be partnered with Gripped Gloves. Gripped is an ATV rider owned and operated brand with the rider in mind and keeping costs affordable the goal. This Michigan-based family operation is here to push stereotypes and limitations while recognizing riders' desire to showcase their identity with eccentric colorways and crazy patterns. Gript is driven to produce a glove with cool colors and designs that won't break the bank. Get a grip on life. Check them out at griptgloves.com. That's GRIPT gloves.com and use discount code DIGGINGDEEP10 to save. Thanks to the Decker Training Facility. The Decker Training Facility at County Line MX is now open. This premier motocross training compound is located in beautiful Fountain, Florida, a short 40-minute drive from Panama City Beach. Their rapidly growing facility consists of a pro-level national track, amateur and youth tracks, woods loop, and mountain bike trails. Everything you need to train comfortably all winter long is available on site, including private cabins, a full gym, RV hookups, bathhouses, garage, dump station, wash bays, and more. With accommodations for riders across the country and around the world, the Decker Training Facility will help you become the best rider you can be. Sign up for a group training session or a private lesson with nationally ranked pros. Train tougher, smarter, and harder this off-season at one of Florida's most luxurious facilities. For more information, go to DeckerTrainingFacility.com or find them on Facebook and Instagram. Decker Training Facility, your elite training experience.
Thank you, Namura Technologies. Namura, pistons with an attitude. Namura has led the charge in the ATV and side-by-side market since 2001 with their wide array of pistons, rings, gaskets, and industry-leading top-end repair kits. To purchase, visit your local dealer or online at namura.com. That's NAMURA.com. Also, a big thanks to Bronco ATV and UTV components. Bronco has been the industry leader in replacement hard parts and accessories for all makes and models for over 15 years. Whether it's electrical components, engine internals like rods and cylinders, suspension parts, or bearing kits, Bronco is your hard part source when it comes to whatever you need for whatever you ride. BroncoATV.com. Thanks to Forworks Carbon for the continued support. Known for their hoods, seat covers, array of carbon parts, and so much more. Forworks is your one-stop shop to give your ATV a new and improved look with increased function this year. Head over to the social media pages or website today. Thanks to Forworks Carbon. Thanks to DP Brakes, the unquestioned leader in motorsports and power sports braking. DP is the brand responsible for allowing Joel Hetrick, your host Cody Jansen, and so many others to outbrake the competition every time they hit the racetrack. It's never too late to join the team, so act fast. www.dp-brakes.com. Thank you to Mountaineer Brand. If you know me, you know I love my... What the?
Hey, that's my line. If you know me, you know I love my beard. That's why I treat it right with Mountaineer Brand's all-natural washes, oils, balms, and more. Use discount code CODY'sFave in all caps. That's CODYSFAV, CODY'sFave in all caps at mountaineerbrand.com. We're thankful for our partnership with Factory 43. Since 2007, this racer-owned company has been striving to offer a quality product that installs easy, looks good, and holds up over time, producing bumpers, grab bars, Nerf bars, and other accessories. For 2020, Factory 43 is the aluminum parts choice of the Phoenix Racing Honda team, providing riders like Joel Hetrick, Jeffrey Rastrelli, Chris Borich, and Grayson Eller with their motocross and cross-country versions of Evo Nerf bars and MX-style front bumpers. Head over to Factory43ATV.com to see their full line of products, thanks to Factory 43. We are proud to be partnered with Bikes, Trikes, and Quads, LLC. Bikes, Trikes, and Quads, LLC was started by former racers selling three-wheeler parts out of a barn in upstate New York. Now 10 years later, BTQ LLC has over 40,000 new and used parts in stock, but they haven't forgotten their roots, still offering used OEM parts for three-wheelers, dirt bikes, ATVs, and side-by-sides. Parts are in stock and ready to ship with guaranteed delivery within 3 days, including free shipping on orders of over $50. Use discount code ATVMX at www.btqllc.com for $10 off of orders $50 or more. We're grateful to have Bikes, Trikes, and Quads LLC digging deep with us, support our industry's small businesses, and thank you BTQ LLC. We are proud of our partnership with Roman Health. On average, Americans are forced to wait 29 days to see a doctor in major U.S. cities. If you're dealing with a condition like erectile dysfunction, you want treatment ASAP. That's why our friends at Roman have spent years building a digital platform to connect you with a licensed doctor in your state from the comfort of your own home. Roman makes it convenient to get the treatment you need on your schedule. Just grab your phone or computer, complete a free online visit, and you'll hear back from a U.S. licensed physician within 24 hours. If the doctor decides that treatment is right for you, Roman's Pharmacy will ship your medication to you with free 2-day shipping. Plus, there's no commitments and you can cancel anytime with Roman. So if you're struggling with ED, go to getroman.com/digging for your free online visit and free 2-day shipping. That's getroman.com/digging for your free online visit and free 2-day shipping. Thanks as always to Evans Waterless Power Sports Coolant. Upgrade to Evans now to avoid overheating and boil over next time you hit the track. When conditions are at their worst, Evans is at its best. Use discount code DIGGINGDEEP20 to save at checkout, evanscoolant.com. Thanks to Blenders Eyewear, whose Life in Forward Motion brand is the perfect fit to partner with our podcast. You won't find better shades for a more attractive price anywhere else. Use discount code DIGGINGDEEP20 to save on the trendiest shades on the market. BlendersEyewear.com.
Thanks to Avocado Green Mattresses. The Avocado mattress offers zoned back support with an internal support unit, meaning whether you are recovering from a hard day of riding or relaxing on a Sunday morning, you are experiencing next level comfort. With a 100-night sleep trial, free shipping and return pickups, and a 25-year warranty, getting your Avocado Green mattress could not be any easier. Step up your sleep game by visiting avocadomattress.com.
From our new partners to our original sponsors, thanks for supporting the #1 podcast in ATV racing and making this dream a reality for both us and our listeners. We pride ourselves in partnering with only the best brands inside and outside of the industry, so better your riding experience and your lifestyle by supporting the sponsors who support us. And if you enjoy the show, the best thing you can do is support our partners. If you're interested in becoming a partner of the show, shoot me a message or email today for more details. We are running a discounted partnership rate to assist small businesses, so message or email us today to keep your brand relevant. Once again, thanks to all of our sponsors. All right, guys, I want to start this thing off with a bang and welcome our first guest of the night, brought to you by SSI Decals, making your identity stick with championship level graphics. This guy stole the show at Lake Sugar Tree with literally a perfect day. It's your reigning pro class champion, Mr. Joel Hetrick. What's up, buddy? Thanks for coming on.
What's up, Cody? Happy to be back on. Talk about a really good weekend I had. And, new venue too, which was super cool to be there. And, it just worked out to be a good weekend with no rain. And, the rain that we did have didn't really hurt us too much. So just a solid weekend.
Yeah, well, first of all, congrats on the big news. You and Carly announced that your family will be growing. So stoked for you guys on that. But
Thank you.
yeah, of course. But the on the track stuff was just about just as good. The weekend was literally as good as it could possibly be for you, from fastest qualifier, 2-hole shots, perfect 1-1 performance for first overall. So I don't think it gets any better than that.
No, that was a picture perfect weekend for sure. And that's exactly what we needed to get back in the hunt, really. And, after coming off 3 losses, I was actually, I was not tore up because one of them, was the mechanical, whatever, but still 3 losses is never fun. And, to come back from that and pull off the 1-1 and the fastest qualifier, 2 starts were the main thing. I mean, that track I feel like would have been tough to pass on, especially Chad. It's never easy, battling with him on tracks like that because we're so similar in speed. It's just hard to make a pass stick without getting dirty. And, I was really fortunate that we didn't, run into any of that. And, I knew I had to practice a bunch of starts before that race, and that's what I did. And it was a unique start too, going down that hill. So it just really paid off for me to do the starts. And, that's my type of track. So I felt right at home.
Absolutely. We all know what type of track suits your style the most, right? So from the moment we set foot on the property there, I knew this was a Joel Hetrick style racetrack. But talk about Lake Sugar Tree a little bit. How did you like the quote unquote country club of motocross? Because like you said, there was some uniqueness to it, whether it be the start or kind of going around this lake or whatever. But I thought it was pretty good. And to be honest, yeah, there were some spots that maybe were a little narrow or whatever, but I thought it even seemed more racy, I guess, than maybe it even looked to the naked eye. So what did you think about that new venue?
I thought it was actually really racy, like you're saying. It had a lot of split lines, a lot of options. You go inside or out, and they were pretty equal. In second moto, actually, Chad was running an outside on me on one spot of the track, and it was working, and I couldn't figure it out. I kept taking my main line inside hump, and I could always hear him run up on me, and I'm like, what is he doing? I just couldn't figure it out. But I also didn't want to change lines because I was still, leading with a little bit of a margin. So it was hard to, it's always hard to force yourself to find that line when you're in the front. Like I kept telling people, I wish I had eyes in the back of my head so I could see what he was doing, because he was on it. And, it was a tough moto. Granted, it wasn't rough, but we pushed raised the bar on that moto and just kept pushing the whole time.
It's gnarly to see both of you, the way that you guys are able to push the limit. I really feel like it's a new level, even like every year. I mean, you guys are so gnarly right now. So what section would that have been? Was that like before that big tabletop thing, where you were going to the signal? Yeah.
It's before that, but it's so you do the start, do the right hander, triple up, left, the speed double down, and then right after you make the next left, there's a right, and then there's a triple, and then left at the top of the hill.
Yep.
And he was going outside on the first one around the hump, and then you do the triple, and then he'd run outside again.
Oh wow.
And I tried it in qualifying, and I'm like, I don't think the line wasn't there, obviously. And
okay.
The line formed in Moto 2 really good, and a lot of people were telling me like, yeah, he was just really fluent through the outsides and was able to keep that speed up, where I was jumping and landing and spinning, until I hit the berm on both of them.
Yep.
So it just stuff like that, he caught me there, and then I had pulled him on the other side of the track. I had some really good lines over there, good speed. Just we mixed it up, battled it out. That's for sure.
It's gnarly too, because even watching you, like the way that you did those singles, gosh, the way you were doing the signals, like singles. Why am I struggling with that?
That's struggle right now.
So the way you were launching them though, like it looked so fast, and so it's just crazy to see both of you pushing
different styles.
It is. Yeah. So, but yeah, I thought the track was really good, and they were definitely weren't dealt like the easiest hand. I feel like with the amount of rain they did get, like leading into the week before, and then we got it on Friday. So they definitely weren't given like an easy path or whatever, but it kept getting better and better. And plus I feel like, and I feel like you're going to be on the same kind of page here, but I've said this time and time again that I'd rather go to a track with a owner or whatever that is super happy to have us rather than going to just a big name racetrack that maybe I don't want to say could care less about the quads, but isn't going to prioritize ATVs.
Yeah. They won't put that extra effort in, which Ryan and his crew really did at Lake Sugar Tree. So
you're exactly right. I was so stoked to be there, and I thought Ryan and his crew did an awesome job. They worked their tails off for us, and you could feel like, and I don't want to maybe oversell it and put words in their mouth, but it felt like for them it was like their Super Bowl. And as a series, I thought that was a really cool feeling. Yeah, definitely.
They definitely killed it, and were super awesome all weekend. And leading up to the race, they were taking advice, and it was cool to have that, and to be back at a track where Smitty was a big part of the ATV scene for a long time, and he was my referee when I was growing up in the youth classes. So to see that billboard of him sitting there at the track and just knowing the whole history of that place, it's really cool to be there, and obviously to grab that win, it was cool. I think he made it tough on his kid, pet that rain shower down for him Friday, but it worked out, and he handled it well. So
yeah, that seeing that cutout took me right back to those same days, because he would have been the referee too when I was younger, and it took me right back to seeing him there. But he didn't. He wanted to make it a little difficult on Ryan. He brought a little too much water down from the heavens, but I thought like I said, the track kept getting better and better. And so for you, I think the biggest thing coming out of Lake Sugar Tree had to have been the way you were able to cut the points gap down, right? You kind kind of referenced it already. So with those 2 moto wins, you were able to cut into Chad's points lead. It's only 7 points now with 5 motos remaining. So you have to be feeling good about that, because even if even if I guess you would have split, like you wouldn't have been able to make up ground. You gotta be feeling great about that.
Yeah. Going in, I knew like I had, not that I had to do that, but this was my big opportunity to go to a track that I know suits me well. And, obviously I worked my butt off before it, and just I would have no excuses going in. We did the bike, everything was there. So everyone's expecting me to go out there and do what, on paper math, like that's what I have to do. And to go out and do it was just, it was awesome. And, it brought that fire back into me a little bit, and there's some confidence going into Three Palms, which I've been to before. And
okay,
I think it's going to be a fast track too. It's going to be rough. It's sandy, but that's something we got to work on. We've been working on the bike a lot, and, I feel like it showed at Lake Sugar Tree. Granted it wasn't rough, but it was rough enough for, what we did to help. And, motor package was good. It just was all clicking. And I was definitely down on myself, like I said, but, I had a lot of fun in between rounds of Redbud and Lake Sugar Tree. Alan Myers was here. Hogue was with us, and we just had a lot of fun riding and training. And, I think that brought a little bit of that back to it for me, rather than just grinding it out every day and doing the old, same old, it gets tiring. And we've had an extended season too. So just, there's a lot of work behind the scenes that can drain you, but, I got that fire back, and I really want to win this thing again. I feel like, 2018, I was cheated out of that one. It's anything can happen, like I said, but it just really sucks. It eats at you, and I really want this to be my 3rd one, and I'm gonna work hard for it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like as soon as you kind of get that fun back or whatever, that's obviously a good thing. And you knew what you had to do, and being stuck in your mind for all that time can be a crazy place too. So to have some people kind of spice it up, I don't blame you there. But I mean, this didn't get a lot of coverage, but it was, I mean, like you said, it wasn't necessarily a must win, but it kind of almost was, because had Chad won those motos in Virginia, the ball wouldn't have been in your court anymore. You could have won out and
still lost.
Right. And if he was second the rest of the way, you would have still came up a little short. So you have to feel good about making it happen when your back was up against the wall. And I feel like, obviously not at a pro level, but like I even know that feeling of like when you're kind of face some adversity or whatever. I feel like when you get that goal, even when it's building to the main goal, like this weekend, it's like you appreciate it probably that much more, right? Like if you just go out and you have a perfect weekend, but it wasn't like absolutely dire needed.
Yeah. I've had that.
It's probably like, I won. Yeah. Like I expected to win,
and like I knew I could have done it, but right now it's like I needed to do it, and I did it. So it made it that much better, and it made the series more interesting for everyone. Like it could come down to the final 2 motos, like it did at Ironman, and again, it very well probably will. Like regardless, it's going to. So that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And everything changed when you suffered that DNF in the first moto at Pleasure Valley. Like you said, Chad went on a 3-race winning streak. You needed a weekend like this. So it's 7 points now, and you and Chad have both been either first or second in every moto this season except for 1 each. So if you guys both go 1-2 in the remaining 5 motos, that means that you have to win 4 of the 5 motos to defend your championship. But, if you keep getting these starts like you basically always consistently do, especially this weekend, you've proved that weekends like this are definitely achievable, and you got to feel good about going forward. And I didn't realize that you had been to Three Palms, but even just having that experience maybe in your back pocket has to help.
Yeah, definitely. I was actually, when I heard about them going to Three Palms, I kind of smirked. I was like, okay, cool. I don't know. I'm sure Chad's been there. He used to go to Splendora back in the day.
Sure.
I'm sure he's probably made it over there, but I know I've been there. I know the layout stuck in my brain, and I think it's going to be another good weekend. It should be a really good weekend for good, battling. I feel like there's going to be a lot of racing at that track. being that I just feel like it's a fast track. I don't know if it's changed much, but it's just, it's jumpy and it's fast and bowl corners, this and that. It's got a hard base to it, but for some reason, I think it's going to be really good racing. And like you just said, I got to win 4 motos. That's a big task. And it's like everyone was like, oh, you made it look easy. Well, I tell you that it ain't never easy. And that whole second moto, I made one mistake and I was like, he's going to pass me. He's going to go right around me. I was like freaking out, but, just try to maintain after that and pick that gap back up. But I know, he's working hard and I'm working hard too. So let the best man win like we did, last year. And it's be true grit here in a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you kind of mentioned there, I mean, it's a new stop on the tour, 3 Palms, but things are going to be even kind of more different with that doubleheader thing, right? So with the kind of normal Saturday program, 1 time qualifier, 1 moto format on Sunday, it'll definitely be different. How do you feel about the doubleheader thing? And does that change your mindset at all? Like you could make up, you can make up more ground in one weekend than typical. I mean, is that in the back of your mind at all, or is it just kind of business as usual?
Yeah, no, it's obviously first when I heard about it, I was like, that's perfect. Like I really need this right now for any hope of getting back in the championship race. And that was before Lake Sugar Tree. So, now looking at the situation, obviously I'm super pumped about it. It's going to be different because I talked to Harv a little bit and he explained how we're going to be doing the schedule, and we're going to be qualifying in the morning, like 8:00 or something with practice or right after practice. And then we'll be in the schedule for racing. So that's going to be different. He said if he can get times, he'll do it, but it's just, I did that 1 pro stock race on Sunday and you're pretty beat on Sunday. Like after a pro weekend, I don't care what they say. Like if you'd be the baddest dude ever, you're still going to be sore on Sunday.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's going to put a, put a little, I don't know. It's going to be tough because depending on how the track is, you could be extremely sore. And, depending what happens to anyone, like if you go down or whatever, like it just could be a stressful weekend. But I'm hoping, just come out the first 2 motos strong and obviously try to win all 3 that weekend and go home a happy camper. But
yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting because my mind kind of went to like what they're talking about with the dirt bike stuff and like how Redbud has that double header coming up and it's a few days apart, not back-to-back days like you guys, but they're talking about like, well, do you not cook yourself in the first one because you have a race coming up in a few days? So then I'm like, well, I mean, that's probably not what you think about in this scenario, but like, I mean, I didn't know. So it's kind of unprecedented. I can't remember a time where you kind of did a back-to-back kind of date, maybe WPSA or something, but you wouldn't have been pro then. We were kids then. So
now doing a double header, 18 plus 2 is like, they're no joke. So I'm going to do everything I can to be prepared for that, obviously. And just go with it as I normally do, business as usual, and try to go out there and start the weekend strong with a Moto 1 win and go from there. But like it's not always that easy.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, I mean, you're always going to go to win. Texas will be no different, but you kind of referenced it there. So I'm going to ask about it. We haven't had you on since you raced the pro stock thing and did all that. Can we talk about that at all, or would you rather not? Because
we can talk about it a little bit.
I was blown away that you did that you were out there. I couldn't believe when I saw you roll by that morning. I'm like, what? Like everybody I think was talking about it. So, like, how did that come about?
Well, I don't know, really. David and I were talking about the team owner, Phoenix, and he just thought it'd be fun to do that. And we had a connection to get a Suzuki from one of our riders on the team, Chris Borich. He switched from Suzuki to Honda. So it was really easy for us to get a machine. And he was like, well, if you want to do it, we got this one here we could get. And I'm like, yeah, why not? We'll try it.
Okay.
So we got the red plastic on it. Looks good. Looks like a Honda, whatever. And, he had the call with Honda, and they said, it's okay. So there's no hard feelings there. But we just went out, and first round, Georgia, we didn't have the baffle in. No one said anything, but until after the race, Thomas was like, "Hey man, like I didn't want to say nothing before the race because I didn't want to, sound like a complainer, but you're gonna have to run that baffle." And I'm like, "Oh, dude, we didn't know. Like it wasn't like we went out there like, okay, we got the baffle out, we're gonna kick ass, whatever."
Yeah.
Like we honestly, honest mistake, didn't know.
Okay.
So we slap it in for Muddy Creek, and just lost just everything that bike had. No power at all. The thing after 2 or 3, it would heat up so bad it felt like it was blowing up. Okay. And I'm not even joking. Jody Bateman took it. He was trying to do a little tuning on it for us, and he threw it on a dyno, and he's like, it's showing like the intake temperature was so hot. He said the bike's so hot that the head pipe was glowing red after a few dyno runs. He's like, it's just getting slower and slower.
Oh my gosh.
There was just nothing he could do to unrestrict it other than take the baffle out, and that's against the rules. So I just opt out of it. I'm like, I'm not going to go push that to its limits and have it blow up or something on me and me crash my brains out. And it wasn't worth that. It was fun, and I would love to race that class again, and we could in the future. We don't, 2021, we'll see what happens. But just as of right now, that was the best thing we could do.
Yeah, that's actually super interesting to hear that. I was trying to be as respectful as possible, like even in the shows after that, because everybody's like, "Oh, talk about the pro stock class, talk about the Suzuki," and I'm like,
yeah,
I wasn't even going to go as far as to say it was a Suzuki, right? Like, yeah. I'm like, it's a red machine kind of thing.
Yeah, so, the red unit.
Yeah, so wanted to be respectful in that way, but that's cool that
for sure.
that they were all on board, and it was fun while it lasted.
It really was. I had a blast, and it sucks because it looks like to everyone else I pulled the freaking hole shots on all of them, so it looks like the bike's fast. And I'm like, I'm telling you guys, it's not fast. I can't compare with them going down straightaways. And
okay,
I'm like, I'm just wide open ringing it out, and it's all it had. And
well, because you won the opening moto.
Yeah. Well, that was without the baffle. So
okay, gotcha.
She runs night and day without that baffle, and let me tell you.
Okay.
But that was a rule they had in place, and obviously the machines they're running are very capable of doing really well with what they got. So that's just something we were dealt, and we didn't look into that. Obviously, we just thought we're gonna have some fun with these guys, and
right, yeah.
And we did, but it ended.
Well, because in my mind, I was kind of like, Joel isn't cool with anybody else going out there and winning any other pro class that isn't him, right? So I'm like, he wanted to find a way to get in the pro stock class. And,
I was like, I got to go out there and see if I can do this. I need to. I think I can win on a stock bike. That's what I kept telling everyone. I think I could do it. They look fast, but I'll run with them. Yeah. So it was definitely fun while it lasted.
Oh, that's cool. It's actually, like I said, it's super cool to get that insight. So yeah, that's cool.
For sure.
Yeah, that's your defending champion, AMA ATV Pro Class defending champion, Joel Hetrick, who's put himself in position to defend his title if he can muster up a few more strong performances here down the stretch. Joel, thanks so much for getting back on the podcast here with me. It's always an honor. Thank you for your time. Good luck the rest of the way. And we can't wait to kind of watch the two former champions of the class duke it out. So thanks again. Congrats on a perfect weekend at Lake Sugar Tree, and good luck the rest of the way. I just can't thank you enough.
Thanks, Cody. I appreciate it. I'm glad to be back on, and definitely want to talk soon.
All right, pal. The champ has spoken. Thanks again.
Thanks, man.
Joel Hetrick, everybody. He was good, wasn't he? I love how truthful and open some of these guys are with me, and Joel is definitely one of those guys. What an awesome guest. That perfect day was just what the doctor ordered for Joel, and that had to be the biggest storyline from Lake Sugar Tree. But our second biggest story had to do with this next guy and his rider. Let's get him on. All right, guys, up next we have a very special guest, former pro rider turned team manager, mechanic, trainer, and overall jack of all trades. Brought to you by Gripped Gloves, because no one wants a bland glove. Say hello to Team 96Nine's Travis Moore. What's up, buddy? Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's my pleasure. So excited back here in West Tennessee right now, seeing the family. It's been a busy year and crazy with all this COVID and everything that's going on, but just glad to be out there grinding. So, yeah, brought to you here from West Tennessee.
Yeah, I like it. You got to be riding a high right now, I would assume. And I've wanted to get you on for a while here, and I figured that there was no better time than the present, because behind Joel's dominant performance this last weekend, your guy may have been the next biggest story coming out of Lake Sugar Tree. Team 96Nine's rookie rider, Logan Stanfield, claimed his first career top 5 finish in Virginia. So I imagine that you guys got to be stoked.
Yeah, I mean, if you could see it now, I got goosebumps on my arms and my legs just hearing that, because it's unreal sometimes to think about it, and I'm so passionate about it because I know the effort and the work that's been there from, as far as me, him, the sponsors, the families, just all the support in general. The work has been there. The cards haven't felt right, and we all know that's racing, and it just hasn't been there. So it's been so frustrating. So for this weekend to work out the way it did, yeah, like you said, you just knocked out the park. You talked about it and gave me goosebumps.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I wanted to go with this, because before we dug too deep into this weekend, I wanted to preface it by going over Logan's season a little bit, because it started off super strong with 2 top 10s at the opening races and then a 12th at Muddy Creek. But in reality, he crashed running 6th, which was super impressive late in the first moto. And that kind of seemed to kick off like just a period there where it was a streak of bad luck, and you guys suffered some mechanical issues and such over a few races that followed that Muddy Creek incident. And then, but I guess throughout that, like I kept saying, even on these shows, like Logan is a top 10 guy. He was super solid. It just, the box score wasn't necessarily showing it. So, then, like I said, he's clearly been a top 5 guy. Then at Lake Sugar Tree, he puts the ATV racing world on notice when he breaks into the top 5. So I have to imagine that the grind of the last few months probably makes what happened this weekend that much sweeter for your whole crew.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, man, I mean, we started out to where we we're top 10. Like, this is our goal. Let's go to Daytona. Let's be top 10. Let's go to the next round, be top 10. Let's just stay humble and be where we feel like we deserve. And that's what we knew. Like, hey, it's our rookie year. This is where we are. And then obviously past that, you want to move forward and go, now we know we can be top 10. We're believers of this. Now let's go for this top 8, top 6. So I know, deep down, I'm a realist, and I call shots like they are. And we are a 6th, 7th place rider any given day. I believe that. We put the work in. It's there. When the cards fall right, we could be that 5th, 4th place guy, just like any other rider out there could be. But the work that's been put in and the reality of being a rookie, like 6th or 7th, man, what are you talking about? That's great. Yeah. But I know that's where we belong. And unfortunately, like you said, we've had issues. Maybe we haven't been as humble as we should have been at times. We've pushed the envelope a little bit as far as maybe fuel and performance or whatever the case may be. I mean, we have a great program with moto experts, and myself, we work hand in hand, and Rob Stanfield, he's completely on board with, whatever it takes there for Logan. He just wants the best for him. So that's what we've been trying to do. But maybe we've looked too far outside of the box, and we should have just stayed back and been humble a little bit. And we've created an issue for ourselves, or for Logan, so to say. And unfortunately, that's sidelined us at times. And it sucks because you put all this work in. It's not just that race. It's from November of last year, October of last year. And then it's after Christmas, you're traveling to wherever you're going to be training. And it's all the preseason stuff that people really don't see that puts so much passion into what you're talking about that we've seen this past weekend. Absolutely.
And when you talk about where he fits, like consistently, even through, kind of that bad streak, he was that rider, like I said, he was 6th at Muddy Creek there late in the race when he kind of hit a berm or whatever and crashed. And throughout that, like, he was still riding in that 6, 7, 8 range. That was his speed. So then the cards fall right this weekend and he busts into the top 5, but like he still, I don't know, we'll get into the motos here, but like he didn't even make it easy on himself, like you guys earned it. So if you break this last weekend down, because like I said, for me, this is, if this isn't the biggest storyline, this is probably the second biggest storyline coming from last weekend. And if you break it down moto by moto, both of them had very different narratives. It's been talked about ad nauseum, like you kind of were just saying it, how good it is to be 6, 7, 8 in this class. It's been talked about ad nauseum how stacked the pro class is this season. And like I said, in that first moto, Logan didn't make it easy on himself because he basically came out last. He was 15th when he crossed the line after the first lap of the opening moto there, but he hung in there. He kept his head down. He continued to fight for positions. And I look up at the end of the moto and man, he's in the mix. He gets all the way up to 7th. And at that point, like that was his best moto of the season, his best finish of the season, and which wouldn't last long. But I got to believe that when you guys got back to the truck, you had to be like, dude, you just need to get a start.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we went back and we done some research there. We watched the video and we know what he did wrong in the first start. It was a weird start for everybody. I mean, I don't think there's been, since I've been in motocross since 2002, I think it was, I've never seen that steep of a descent right out of the start or a downhill start to the right-hander. So I think it was new for everybody, and it's hard to replicate that and practice that. So
yep,
Logan's always been very strong at starting, and we put a lot of work into our gate preparation, and he wheelied out of that hard, and, he was, bent elbows like you should be or whatnot, and he went to transition back, and then he got slung forward. I mean, if you watch the video, his chest almost hit the front of the handlebars. Like he had to be 1 inch off the front of his handlebars when he should have been shifting to third. So that first moto, like you said, was a learning curve for us. And when he come around that first lap, all I told him was to do is breathe plenty of time. And most of the time people fall apart. They're mad, their heart's beating through the roof, they're upset. Like you said, you come across the line, you're 15th. Like, what do? Right. Most people freak out, and Logan's done it before, but that's how much he's maturing. He kept his head down, and he took a deep breath. He stayed loose, he stayed calm, and he charged. And he capitalized on every corner, every obstacle, and everybody else's mistake. And then, like you said, before you know it, he was in the middle of the mix.
It was crazy, like because I watch Logan. He's one of the guys that I really zone in on during these races. And at the beginning to see him, I didn't obviously at the time know exactly what happened on the start, but I knew he didn't come out that well. And mid-race, I kind of check in and, he's getting, he's like top 10-ish. And man, by the end, like I said, there was carnage. It seemed that first moto was crazy. There was stuff happening everywhere. And he just hung in there and chipped away, comes away with that 7th. And then like I said, I mean, really even me, like I was like, man, if he gets a start, like this could be interesting. And that's exactly what he did. He got that good start that he needed. You guys come out. He comes out of the gate in the second moto, basically behind the big three, the three current legends of the sport, Joel, Chad, and Thomas. And, Logan basically latched on. We kind of discussed this, I guess, before I hit record on this thing, but mid-race, Logan has got Thomas in his sights yet. And I had said to the crew around me, I'm like, Logan is a first-year pro, and that dude ahead of him is a 12-year pro. And to still have him in his sights at the mid-race point is amazing. And very quickly, because I'm like, okay, like this could be as they're distancing themselves, this could be top 5 in this moto. And I'm doing the math, and I'm like, man, this could be top 5 overall. And instantly my mind flashes back to him being at the back of the pack in the first moto. And I'm like, this would be amazing. So, Bryce was on a mission. He ended up getting by him. and Logan finished 5th in that moto, but he pulled 5th overall. And man, that was amazing. So take me inside your emotions, kind of break down that moto for me, and then take me through your emotions as it's playing out, as you realize that this is going to be a top 5 day, and then take me, through your emotions at the end of the race when you guys embrace each other.
I felt like in Logan's heart, he kind of wanted to make some more changes that I wasn't comfortable with. I felt like I knew what needed to be done. So we made those changes for the first moto, and we discussed more in the pits, and we were satisfied with that 7th. Don't get me wrong. Completely satisfied, but there was still more. So then we made even another change for the second moto, and on the gate, like, I get all hyped, dude. I get excited. Like, I'll sit there, I'll be yelling and slapping him in his back, and it probably gets on his nerves at times, but I just get in the moment. I remember what it was like, and it's all the work that I put in, he puts in. Like, I remember that. So I just get hype, and I just remember telling myself, this is the day. Prove yourself. That's it. Everybody's been like, oh, well, Logan's doing good. No, Logan's going to do great. We just got to get every card to fall right. So that's what I told Logan that day. Let's prove ourselves. And so, like you said, the gate drop, he comes out 4th, and you talk about emotions. I stood there at the gate, and I see him come around the corner. Then all of a sudden I see Joel triple, Chad triple, Thomas triple. Then I see Logan triple, and the rest of the field did not triple.
Yep.
And I said, we're in this blank. I knew it. Like, that was that turning point to where my emotions took an all-time high, because I knew we were there.
Yeah, and even Logan said that. He's like, when I was able to send that triple, it was just the 4 of us that were able to send it. I was like, okay, we're going to distance ourselves. Here we go. That's what he told me. So, so that was, what a start. I can't even imagine the emotions there. Yeah,
so he come around the first lap. I just told him, now breathe. That's all the pit board said, now breathe.
Okay.
He knows what needs to be done at this point. This is repetition. We've been over this, right? Muscle memory. He knows what needs to be done at this point. So all I said was, now breathe. Because that's the most important thing as a rookie, to be running 4th. And like you said, pacing somebody in the likes of Thomas Brown is got to be huge for Logan. It's huge for anybody, but for Logan to know he's pacing somebody like Thomas Brown, like you said, it's a veteran in the sport at this point. That's the only thing I wanted him to do at that point, was just breathe and kind of calm down. And
yeah, because it's easy to let it get away from you. You like, things will snowball if you're like, oh my God, I gotta go, this, that, and the other thing. Like, yeah, you're exactly right. And that's the thing that stands out to me about Logan, probably more than anybody else even in the rookie class, is, man, he just looks so solid. It would be very easy to mistake him for a 3rd or 4th year pro. So, and he used that obviously in the beginning of that second moto. So continue on.
Yeah. So there's somebody that's very special to our team. That's called him the methodical man. And I believe that's perfect for Logan.
Okay.
To call him the methodical man, because he's methodical. Just like you said, he really thinks things out. He's not gonna be that first person to send that big quad or hit that big triple.
Yep.
He's gonna step back and make sure that people, make it clean a few times, and he's going to, which is perfect. Like I've told Logan, that was never me. Me back when I rode, I'd be the first one to try stuff. Yeah. And I was always on the stretcher in the ambulance. Like, that's not the way to be. So calling Logan the methodical man, I think is an X Games gold award. You know what I mean? Like, that's perfect. Like,
yeah.
What else would you want to be? So it's not hard to coach him on to being calm, so to say. I think the first couple races when he come out really good, like Anonia Pass was one of them.
Yep.
He kind of got caught up in his emotions a little bit and done that, oh crap, like, I'm in the mix. And I think he tired himself out a little bit, but now he knows where he belongs. Those guys don't intimidate him anymore. Even though he still looks up to them, they just don't intimidate him. Like, he knows that where his position is. So this weekend just proved it, man, of what he could do when he puts his mind to it. And that's what I told him also on the pit board. I'm like, prove yourself.
Yep, I saw that. Actually, I don't know who was around me, but somebody was like, "Did you see that pit board?" Travis just said, "Prove yourself," and that's cool. Now to hear that you guys emphasize that kind of all day, and man,
that was like the halfway point, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
It was
because I know how hard that was getting for him. I mean, this stuff gets hard, and it's so hard. And I told him, prove yourself. And in the next lap, I capitalize on it. You are strong. And that's what I tell him. When things get hard, you just keep talking to yourself and tell yourself, you are strong. So I put prove yourself, and the next lap is you are strong. And that's it, because I believe in him, man, fully. Or I wouldn't do what I do or sacrifice what I do as well. But he's got it, and I was so pumped to see that he finally proved himself.
Yeah, I thought that was so cool. I can't think of a more deserving kid. He just looks the part. He looks the part. And so then I guess you didn't get into it too much, but take me through your emotions after he crosses the finish line, because you were stoked. I was standing right there kind of watching it go down. So give me some of that. And I will say too, before I let this get too far by, I think that you being so emotional and passionate about it, like, as a rider, you feed off that. You've been the rider, you know what that's like. So you're kind of just fueling the fire that is his race day spirit and everything that comes along with that. So you being you, I think really, really helps him as a rider kind of just let it all hang out, I guess, or whatever you want to say. So take me through all your emotions that happened after he crossed the finish line.
Yeah. So just what you said, I hope he feels my emotions, man, because I would tell you, like, even right now, it can almost get me like teary-eyed just even thinking about that moment. Because when his last lap, like I said, we all get caught up in the moments, and we may say things we should or shouldn't at times, and there's people even in my family that don't appreciate it, but I put hell yes on his last lap. Just strictly out of emotion, and I'm all about the kids and the sport and trying to be professional, but that was my emotion. And just as I posted it on Facebook, I'm not going to hide it.
Right.
That's what I felt. And I had nothing else to write. I mean, I couldn't run out and hug him on his last lap.
Right.
As much as I wanted to. So I just put hell yes. And when he crossed that finish line, oh dude, I had tears in my eyes. I mean, just straight tears in my eyes, the emotions that I felt. I mean, I'm almost feeling them again right now. It's crazy. And the first person that comes over is Billy Cottage and shakes my hand and gives me a hug. We're longtime friends and competed together way back in the day. And I just remember everybody fist bumping me and telling me congratulations. And it was just still, it's like, it felt like we won a national title again. Like, it was so surreal that all the work that he put in finally come together. So it was amazing. I don't know what else to say. It was, I couldn't even hardly talk to people because they wanted to tell me like congratulations or good luck. Like, I almost felt like I'd start crying. Like, It was just so emotional, man, to see that the work, and most people don't even know, just a week and a half prior to this race, we were in the emergency room. Logan took a nasty crash in practice, nasty. And laid there on the ground for a while, and it was like he had a tennis ball on the side of his foot, and we didn't know what was they thought, well, they're saying it's not broken, but it's very possible once the swelling goes down, it may be broken, and we're all bummed out, don't even know if we're going to make the race. And so Wednesday before the race, we decided to go ride, and Logan's like, I mean, I think my foot's going numb, so it's really not hurting, so I think we're good. Like, well, I mean, yes and no. Like, I get you're not hurting, but you say your foot's going numb. And so we were just so unsure on this weekend. And it was like the most prepared weekend because I'd put so much time in the race bike. We'd done so many changes and we'd done so much preparation. Then he went out and crashed. And then we're going into this race not even knowing really what to expect. And then all of a sudden we have this outstanding performance. I mean, he done nothing but griped about the bike from the first qualifier to the second qualifier. it was one of those weekends where, you know, Logan will listen to this. I love you to death, Logan, but I wanted to wring his neck. Like, everything was complained about. He complained about everything.
Okay.
We were trying to figure out the right setup, you know, and it just didn't seem to be working. But when the gate dropped for the first moto, it worked. And then the second moto, it got even better.
Oh, sometimes I feel like that does happen too. As soon as it's like race time and you just stop thinking about everything else, it just kind of clicks. But you mentioned him. I read that social media post and I completely forgot about that until now, that he had that nasty get off that he referenced, because even the post was ominous. Like, hey, we're gonna try to be back. We're gonna try to be ready. And I didn't even realize how bad it was. So I never even thought about that. But talk about the lowest of lows there, and then catapulting, you know, kind of to the highest of highs that you guys have felt so far. That's amazing. So I guess you've referenced it a few times. I also don't want to go without mentioning this, but you've referenced a few times, and most people will probably remember you first as a rider. You contended in the Pro-Am classes for many years. You raced the full Pro Tour in 2011. You finished 9th in points that season, with your best finishes being 2 6th and a 4th at Redbud that season. Logan currently sits tied for 10th in points. He's coming off a 5th overall late in his rookie season. Very similar to you. Your 2 seasons look eerily similar, to be honest. And at the moment, you have the edge by a smidge. So do you hold that over him at all, or use that as motivation, or will you now?
No, we just, I use everything as an experience, man, and somehow to move forward, because the moment you quit learning, you're a fool, right? So every day is a learning curve. So everything I've been through, whether it's the good or the bad, I want to tell Logan about. I want to tell Logan about the bads. I want to tell Logan about the goods. That way it's a building thing for him, because I want him to overcome everything I've done. And if he doesn't, then I feel like I failed again, because I went as far as I did, whatever the reasons, circumstances, or support that was there. I went as far as I did. So I'm still blessed to be in this, and I want him to go even further. And I want that to be because of something I did. So anything I can give him or shed light on something is what I want to do. That's what it's all about, is just helping the people that are coming up in the next bit.
Yeah, I love that. I love that outlook. Of course, obviously, I was semi joking, but it does have to help that, you know, both of you. It has to help both of you knowing that a decade ago you were literally in those exact same shoes.
Yeah, it's really cool to think about. Like I said, I didn't even really know those complete stats, so that's super cool to even know or to think about. But yeah, everything now is about Logan. It's about getting him through the season as safe as we can and as successful as we can. And yeah, I mean, it's starting to turn around a little bit. Like I said, I wish the things hadn't happened that's happened this year. We've had some DNFs, but I've always been taught that everything happens for a reason. So I'm not real sure why those things took place, but they did, and it's made us stronger.
Absolutely. I think to take experiences like that and add them to your bag of tricks, the way you have to look at them is that it's a learning experience, and you're going to grow from it. So, Travis, I have to congratulate you, man. Not just on this weekend, but you've built quite a program over at 96Nine. You guys have won titles both with Logan and Alan Myers. You led Alan Myers to a great rookie season as well for him, and now you have Logan looking like he could be a key player in the sport for years to come. You guys have been killing it, and man, you got to be really proud of that whole program that you got going.
Yeah, I can't say enough about it, man. I've been really proud of them all. Like I said, I've had from Alan to Logan to Zach Decker, Cole Woolen-Weber was on board for a while there.
Yep.
And it's been good, and I'm glad they've been able to do it and done it. Blessed, and I'm thankful for all of it, man. Whatever the storm weathered, man, I'm proud of all of it, and it's all worked out in the way it should have, and everything happens for a reason. So I'm very proud of what's took place and how it is, and we'll keep moving forward.
Absolutely, man. I love it. And it's super interesting too, because like you look at, I guess I didn't even realize until I looked it up that your pro career only lasted 1 year, because I remember you so prominently in Pro-Am for so many years. But like to think about, maybe you only lasted 1 year in the pro class and then, not being able to come back or whatever the circumstance, but now you've been around it still for so long. It's like you still found a way to be a key player in the sport for all this time. I just think it's really cool. And it's cool. It's interesting how like the path isn't maybe how you thought it was going to be a decade ago, 10 years ago, but you're still in the sport, you're still enjoying it. You're still, able to take, all the values and knowledge and growth and all these things that you have and trickle it down to these younger riders. And I think that that's a really honorable thing. And man, you're just a great personality in the sport. And man, that's why we had to get you on here. I just wanted to harness some of that emotion and all the stuff that you embody. And it really adds to what I got going here. And I really wanted to offer that to our listeners. So, I think it's everything that Travis Moore is about. I think I'm all about that too.
Well, I really appreciate it, man. Like you said, yeah, it was one of those things you work your heart out, you know what I mean? And back then you had to go through Pro-Am and earn so many points to get your pro license, and I did it. And unfortunately, I got in a really bad wreck in the first of 2012. And I went under some wrist surgeries and had some things done. And then before you know it, I'm riding for Polaris up in ATV in 2012. Then all of a sudden I'm running snowcross, which was completely crazy. So I'm racing snowcross. Then 2013 and 14, I'm riding for Can-Am up in ATV. And
yep.
It's what made sense there. I wanted to be in the Nationals, but at that point, it's what made sense with Can-Am. They're paying you. You go to where they want to pay you. My heart's always been in the Nationals, but I still have a big spot for the ATV, and I love them. I think they're doing big things up there now, and so I appreciate what they're doing there. Anything that anybody's doing in the ATV industry, I appreciate. But, yeah, unfortunately, from 2004 is when I fully committed to the Nationals. I worked all those years for just 1 year pro. Like you said, kind of sucks, but I got pushed a different way, and then I made my career run out to 14, and at 15 I started my team, and I'm still blessed to be here now.
Yeah, like that's the interesting part to me. Even that's why I was hesitant to just say a 1 year pro career, because I remembered very prominently the NEATV thing and you doing well up there and all that stuff. But yeah, it's just interesting. It's interesting how the path all works out, and that you're still in this thing and loving it and helping like kids like Logan that are in your exact same shoes like you were 10 years ago. So again, pal, I just can't thank you enough for joining me here on the podcast. This has been a lot of fun. I'd love to get you back on sometime and talk about your career, your younger years a little bit more. And that's something I'd really like to do. But I just man, I can't thank you enough for joining me. Congrats on a huge weekend. And obviously we're wishing you guys the best the rest of the way.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you. It's our pleasure. And really appreciate what you're doing, man. You're killing it. You're really turning a bunch of heads, and you're definitely helping the industry. So if anything, we all need to thank you, and we appreciate what you're doing.
All right, pal. Obviously I really appreciate that, but yeah, let's get you back on. I'd like to plan on that. And yeah, we'll talk to you soon. We're always pulling for you guys. Congrats. And yeah, we want to see more of Team 96Nine and Logan Stanfield up front.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, pal. We'll get right back to the show, but now a word from our sponsors. And thank you for listening to these ads. Without these great companies, none of this would be possible. Show your support for the people who support us. Before Digging Deep was even a reality, back when it was just an idea, Cst Tires already believed in us, which is fitting because no one believes in their tires more than I do. Our title sponsor, Cst Tires, and their Pulse MXR tires continue to hook every rider strong enough and willing to grab a handful of throttle after mounting them on their ride. Used by Thomas Brown to win races and clinch a third straight Quad Cross of Nations title, Nick Janusa when he grabbed his first career Pro Class podium, and myself, Cody Jansen, as I rode my Pulse MXR fronts and white label soft compound rears to a 2019 National Championship in the Junior 25 Plus class. The Pulse MXR tire, available in soft and standard compounds, offers the highest level of traction, most predictable cornering, and superior wear characteristics when compared to the competition. Visit CSTTires.com to join the CST takeover today or prepare to be beat by someone who did. CST Tires, where passion meets the ground.
Anybody that I've gotten to try them, I've heard nothing but positive things back.
We're proud to be Team Blue Crew here at the Digging Deep ATV MX podcast. Why choose Yamaha? Look no further than Chad Wienen's 6 championships in the past 8 seasons aboard his Yamaha YFZ 450R. Not to mention, Yamaha is the leading OEM supporter of ATV racing, and their support of this podcast proves it. For the 2020 ATV MX season, Yamaha's Blue Crew Racer Support Program will offer payout and prize opportunities, including a chance to win a brand new YFZ 450R. For more information, head to YamahaOutdoors.com and follow them on social media at Yamaha Outdoors today. All hail Blue Crew, the #1 OEM supporter of ATV racing. For over 150 years, Valvoline has led the charge by being dedicated to constant improvement and innovation across all disciplines of racing. Valvoline has sponsored some of the greatest names in motorsports, and for the better part of a decade, I've been fortunate enough to be part of the historically great Team Valvoline. From my commuting vehicles to small engines, race quads, and everything in between, I trust nothing but Valvoline in all of my equipment. I've experienced increased function and durability as well as a longer life expectancy thanks to Valvoline's array of products and lubricants. Since 1866, Valvoline has been focused on bettering your experience, whether on road, on track, and everywhere in between. Upgrade to Valvoline today and check them out at valvoline.com. SSI Decals is a name synonymous with ATV racing, synonymous with big-time success, and absolutely synonymous with the best-looking decals around. An offshoot of their parent company that was established in 1947, SSI first took shape from owner Ian Harris's passion for ATVs. With what started as just making numbers and decals for riders like Chad Wienen, the company quickly took off, and today you couldn't imagine ATV motocross without SSI decals. The graphics maker and designer now supports all the top teams in ATV motocross, as well as teams and riders racing GNCC, Work Series, Pro Motocross and Supercross, Canadian Pro Motocross, short course off-road trucks, UTVs, snowcross, and oh yeah, 6-time NHRA World Champion Clay Milliken. No project is too big or too small for SSI decals, making your identity stick with championship level graphics. Head over to SSIDecals.com today and then maybe call the doctor because things are about to get sick. The Digging Deep ATV MX podcast is brought to you in part by DID Racing Chain and their 520 ATV2 chain. This patented X-ring chain boasts a steel alloy construction for reduced weight, increased strength, and a longer overall chain life, making it the optimal ATV racing chain. Pick up an ATV2 chain today at your local dealer or wherever DID chains are sold. Don't forget about their motocross, off-road, and street bike chains as well. Wherever you go, go with DID.
Hello listeners, this is Chad Wienen, 6-time AMA ATV Pro National Champion, an owner of Wienen Motorsports and proud partner of Digging Deep ATV MX podcast. The two of us share a strong passion for ATV MX. Owning my own team gives us the ability to handpick the best products on the market for our racing program. With consistent testing, research, and development, we are confident that when choosing the products we believe in, our customers will be satisfied in building their own race program as well. We race what we sell. With brands like Fox Shocks, Walsh Racecraft, SSI Decals, Wrath Racing, and Hinson Racing, just to mention a few, go to check out WienenMotorsports.com to see the full lineup. Enter discount promo code DIGDEEP at checkout. Enough talking already. Get out and get some fresh air and go ride. Hope to see you at the track soon.
We are proud to be partnered with Numira Technologies. Since 2001, Numira has led the charge in the ATV and side-by-side market, covering more applications than anyone else in the industry. Numira's advanced piston technology uses a NASA-exclusive aluminum alloy that helps to reduce expansion rates, that allows for tighter tolerances, and leads to higher overall engine performance for your machine. For more information about Numira's wide offerings of pistons, rings, gaskets, and industry-leading top-end repair kits, visit your local dealer or online at www.numira.com. Numira Technologies, pistons with an attitude. We are pleased to be partnered with Bronco ATV and UTV Components. Bronco has been an industry leader in replacement hard parts and accessories for all makes and models for over 15 years. With a catalog that includes a full line of electrical components, engine internals like rods and cylinders, all the way down to suspension parts and bearing kits. Bronco is your hard part source for whatever you need for whatever you ride. Available exclusively through distributors around the world. Visit your local dealer or online at broncoatv.com. The Digging Deep ATV MX podcast is also sponsored by DP Brakes, a longtime supporter of ATV racing and the world leader in sintered brake technology. DP has been dominating the ATV world for decades by supporting the best four-wheeled racers on the planet. 2020 is no different, with an impressive lineup including AMA ATV Pro Class champion Joel Hetrick and Phoenix Racing Honda team, Cody Jansen and his 2019 Junior 25 Plus National Championship, Baldwin Motorsports, Nick Januza, Wesley Wolf, and much more in the ATV motocross. In GNCC Racing, DP has 16 of the top 17 pros heading into 2020. This includes the champ Walker Fowler, Bryson Neal, Chris Borich, Cole Richardson, Jared McClure, Adam McGill, and more. These riders continue to appreciate the high performance and impressive durability that their DP brakes have to offer, products that ultimately help place them on the top of the podium. Available at www.dp-brakes.com. Purchase at your local dealer or message us for the contact info today. What are you waiting for? Join the best ATV riders in the world on DP Brakes. Forworks Carbon's innovative lightweight products include top-notch seat covers, carbon fiber, and plastic hoods, gas tank covers, exhaust shields, shock guards, and much more. Whether you have an ATV, UTV, or snowmobile, Forworks has the goodies that will improve your ride and make you salivate. We trust Forworks for increased function and a sexier look, and you should too. Forworks Carbon, always working hard to bring high quality and innovative parts to the market. Check them out today at fwcarbon.com.
We are proud to be partnered with Gripped Gloves. Gripped is an ATV rider owned and operated brand with the rider in mind and the goal of keeping costs affordable. The Michigan-based family operation recognizes riders' desire to showcase their identity. Owner David Payne's love for eccentric colorways and crazy patterns shows in his product, something not often found in the work of big manufacturers. Here to push stereotypes and limitations, Grip's drive is to produce a glove with cool colors and designs that won't break the bank. With comfort and quality as key motivators, the family affair is constantly working on the next more innovative and improved glove. Get a grip on life, join the Gripped movement, because no one wants a bland glove. Check them out today at grippedgloves.com, that's GRIPT gloves.com, and use discount code DIGGINGDEEP10 to save at checkout. If you were to guess, on average, how many days people in the U.S. have to wait to see a doctor, what would you say? Americans have to wait around 29 days to see a doctor in major U.S. cities. And if you're dealing with a condition like erectile dysfunction, you want treatment ASAP. That's why our friends at Roman have spent years building a digital platform that can connect you with a licensed doctor in your state, all from the comfort of your home. Roman makes it convenient to get the treatment you need on your schedule. Just grab your phone or computer, complete a free online visit, and you'll hear back from a U.S. licensed physician within 24 hours. If the doctor decides that treatment is right for you, Roman's Pharmacy can ship your medication to you with free 2-day shipping. You also get free unlimited follow-ups with your doctor anytime you have questions or want to adjust your treatment plan. With Roman, there are no commitments and you can cancel anytime. So if you're struggling with ED, go to getroman.com/digging for your free online visit and free 2-day shipping. That's getroman.com/digging for your free online visit and free 2-day shipping. We are also proud of our partnership with Factory 43. Factory 43 was born in 2007, making Nerf bars for the Suzuki LTR, Honda TRX 450R, and Yamaha's YFZ 450. The brand soon added bumpers and grab bars, and for years now has offered parts for all sport quads. The racer-owned company strives to offer a quality product that installs easy, looks good, and holds up over time. For 2020, Factory 43 is the aluminum parts choice of the Phoenix Racing Honda team, providing riders like Joel Hetrick, Jeffrey Rastrelli, Chris Borich, and Grayson Eller with the motocross and cross-country versions of their Evo Nerf bar and MX-style front bumpers. Head over to factory43atv.com to see their full line of products. Thanks to Factory 43. We are excited to dig deep with the support of Bikes, Trikes, and Quads, LLC. Celebrating their 10-year anniversary this May, the company was started by former racers selling three-wheeler parts out of a barn in upstate New York. Through hard work, accompanied by offering great service to their customers, BTQ LLC now has over 40,000 new and used parts in stock. But they haven't forgotten their roots, still offering used OEM parts for three-wheelers, dirt bikes, ATVs, and side-by-sides. Parts are in stock and ready to ship with delivery within 3 days, including free shipping on orders over $50. Use discount code ATVMX at www.btqllc.com for $10 off orders of $50 or more. We're grateful to have Bikes, Trikes, and Quads LLC digging deep with us. Support our industry's grassroots businesses. Thank you, BTQ LLC. The Decker Training Facility at County Line MX is now open. This premier motocross training compound is located in beautiful Fountain, Florida, about a 40-minute drive from Panama City Beach. Their rapidly growing facility consists of a pro-level national track, amateur and youth tracks, woods loop, and mountain bike trails. Everything you need to train comfortably all winter long is available on site, including private cabins, a full gym, RV hookups, bathhouses, garage, dump station, wash bays, and more. With accommodations for riders across the country and around the world, the Decker Training Facility will help you become the best rider you can be. Sign up for a group training session or a private lesson with nationally ranked pros. Train tougher, smarter, and harder this off-season at one of Florida's most luxurious facilities. For more information, go to DeckerTrainingFacility.com or find them on Facebook and Instagram. Decker Training Facility, your elite training experience.
We are proud to be partnered with Avocado Green Mattresses. We all know that sleep and rest are an important part of any athlete's routine. Avocado's line of natural mattresses and pillows provide exactly the support you need to ensure you perform at your best while doing the best for the planet. The Avocado mattress offers zoned back support with an internal support unit, meaning whether you are recovering from a hard day of riding or relaxing on a Sunday morning, you will be experiencing next level comfort. You can rest in peace knowing the components in your mattress and pillow are non-toxic, natural, and sustainably sourced. And getting your Avocado Green mattress could not be any easier. They offer a 100-night sleep trial, free shipping and return pickups, and a 25-year warranty. And if that wasn't enough, rest assured knowing they have 5-star ratings by verified customers, including some of the Digging Deep staff. Step up your sleep game by visiting avocadomattress.com.
Thanks for listening, and remember to support our partners. Now back to the show. Okay, guys, we're back. So we've went over the two biggest headlines from the weekend. Now let's do a quick rundown before we welcome our other two guests. You heard from Joel Hetrick there. He enjoyed a perfect day at Lake Sugar Tree, from fastest qualifier to ripping both hole shots, leading all the laps, en route to 2 perfect 1-1 motos. So Joel Hetrick cut into that points lead, and he's going to make things interesting down the stretch. It's going to be fun to watch this battle between him and Chad Wienen, the two former champions of this class. Chad Wienen, 2-2 on the day. He got into second in that second moto, and man, he was impressive the way that he kind of shrunk the gap on Joel and then was matching Joel's times. He was impressive. I was almost impressed with him as much as I was with anybody, because that's a Joel Hetrick kind of track. And I think Chad, he even kind of mentioned it to me. He was feeling good that he was able to run that kind of pace on a track like we typically associate with being a Joel Hetrick style racetrack. So Chad Wienen, he's still the red plate holder. He's still the points leader, 7 points ahead of Joel with 5 motos remaining. Man, this is gonna be a very fun battle down the stretch here between those two guys. So that was 1 and 2, Joel Hetrick and Chad Wienen. 3-3 on the day was Thomas Brown. So solid. He was all alone in third on this weekend, something that we've seen so often throughout these last couple of years, really. And this was his 50th career pro class podium. Wrap your head around that. 50 career pro class podiums for Thomas Brown. 50 weekends where he put together, podium efforts. That's just amazing. It really is an amazing stat. So credit to Thomas. We got him coming up on the show, and looking forward to talking about him, even a little bit about this race weekend, and then obviously so much more to talk about with him. 4th on the day was Wesley Wolf. He got 4th overall with 4.6 scores, and man, Wesley was on a tear. He ran that clear 4th in the first moto, and the thing that was kind of crazy about Lake Sugar Tree, that first moto was gnarly. There was battles going on all over the place. There was carnage, all kinds of stuff. So Wesley Wolf battled through that, was a clear fourth in the first moto, and then had to battle through the pack in the second moto, got up to sixth, and that was enough for that fourth overall. So that ties his career best. And good for Wesley. That was a very impressive ride. So good for him. Fifth overall, you just heard from Travis Moore, his kind of lead man of the team there. Fifth overall was Logan Stanfield, 7 in the first moto. And like we talked about, Logan was 15th when he passed the finish line on the first lap, and he got all the way up to 7th. And that was amazing. Like, I looked at the beginning of the race, I'm like, darn, Logan's in the back. He's going to have a long race ahead of him. And as things went on, I checked in about mid-race. He was hovering around the top 10. And by the end, I'm like, dang, he's up in the mix, gets up to 7th. And second moto, he comes out 4th at mid-race. He's running, not that far behind Thomas. Like, on the longer straightaways, he was still seeing Thomas Brown. And Bryce Ford was on a tear in the second moto, so he gave up that one position. But he went a pro moto only giving up one position. He gave up one position to Bryce Ford, goes from 4th to 5th, finishes 5th in the moto. That earns him top 5 overall. That's his first career top 5. So awesome for Logan. Awesome to hear from Travis there. And just a big congrats going to Logan Stanfield, a guy I definitely cheer for. 6th overall was Jeffrey Rastrelli. Hard fought for him, 6'7". He fought his tail off in this one. And, just welcome back to Jeffrey. That is his best finish of the year, 6th overall. But just good to have Jeffrey back. We know he's battling through some things. And hopefully he can build from here because we know what he's capable of. 7th overall was Nick Janusa, 5'9" for 7th overall. Probably not the day that he was looking for, but a good day for him overall because we'll get to this in a few minutes, but there's a window opening that maybe didn't look like it was open, I guess, even a week ago before Lake Sugar Tree. So we'll get to that, but 7th overall for Nick Janusa on the day at Lake Sugar Tree. 8th overall was Alan Myers. He was running 4th early in Moto 1, then 3rd at mid-race. And I thought we were going to see kind of him maybe push for that podium spot like we saw at Daytona. I thought he was really going to be in the mix there. And it just didn't happen. I told you there was carnage, there was craziness in that first moto. Allen was part of that. So he falls back. He fights back to 8th. He goes 8-8 for 8th overall. So early on, it looked like it was going to be a different kind of day for him. But solid day for Allen in 8th. And it's just such a competitive class. So credit to him for that. That's a good finish for sure. 9th overall, Bryce Ford. So in the first moto, first lap, he gets stuck kind of just off the main line of the track. He gets stuck in the mud, and he's literally a lap down. If you wouldn't have known better, you would have thought he was leading that first moto when he got going because he was just maybe a half a section or whatever ahead of the leaders. So he comes from way back. He finishes 14th in that first moto. There was just nothing he could do. But in the second moto, he was on fire. He gets up to 4th. He passes Logan Stanfield, finishes 4th. 14-4 gives him 9th overall, and he's now clearly the 4th guy in points. So not the day that Bryce would have wanted, but being 4th in points now, he's clearly the number 4 guy, and he's kind of the leader of the other guys, as I put it in one of my writings for another media obligation, behind the 3 current legends of the sport. Joel Hetrick, Chad Wienen, and Thomas Brown. You got to put Bryce Ford, the leader of the other guys. So 9th overall for him on the day, but good weekend as far as points go. Rounding out the top 10 was Wes Lewis, 10-11 for 10th overall. He's told us, and we've said it on just about all of these shows, that his goal is to be top 10 every weekend. So that's what he did, and he's sitting 9th in points. So good on Wes Lewis. Excited to see him up there. He's just a guy that I think we all kind of cheer for. Cody Ford, he was 11th overall, 912 scores. That's his best overall finish of the year, and he won the Pro Open Pro class on Sunday. So good weekend for Cody overall for sure. Headlined by that Pro Mod win. 12th overall was Noah Mickelson. That's 2 consecutive 12ths for Noah. That tied his season best and career best in the pro class. So good for Noah. His brother Hayden was 13th overall. I think he crashed in one of the motos, or even if it was time qualifying, I think he got kind of pile drove into the ground. So either way, he might have been fighting through some things. So 13th overall for Hayden Mickelson. 14th overall was Brogan Geyer. I know he had some bike problems in the second moto. He had to pull into the mechanics area, and you probably saw the pictures of that bike smoking. So he was fighting some bike issues, as he has throughout the kind of season here. But he got an 11th in the first moto, so that was good for Brogan. 14th overall on the day, fighting those bike problems. Very similar story for Troy Hill. He had so many consecutive top 10s. He was so solid. But on this day, he had bike problems in both motos. He ends up 15th overall. So Troy will look to kind of right those wrongs with a couple races remaining. And not a good day for him in the box score, but his riding was better than it shows because he was fighting some bike stuff. Sad story here, 16th overall, Brandon Hogue. He almost gets the whole shot in the first moto, comes out second behind Joel. Chad gets by him, and then just in the early stages of the race there, he was, set up obviously for a good race, good finish possibly, and he goes down in a little rhythm section before the finish line and takes a really gnarly crash. So we got an update from Brandon today. He did get surgery on that injured hand of his, and he's going to go back into the doctor in the next week or so to get an update on how that surgery went, and we'll be able to update you more on the next episode. So at first, I know that there was some other things really hurting him, whether it was ribs, back, some stuff like that. And he checked out on all of that, and his CT scan first had all of those things checked out. So that's really good news. Maybe we can get Brandon on this next episode and kind of hear from him. But great kid. He was having a great season. He was in the fight with Bryce Ford for that top 4 or 5 spot. Those guys were probably going to end up 4th and 5th. And Brandon had that get off. And I think he was poised to finish the year really strong here, so that's a shame. I feel terrible for him. He's a guy I pull for, and just wanting him to get back healthy, and hoping we see him on a similar program next year. I feel like he's a guy who was building. He was better than last year, and I think that we're going to see him come out of the gates stronger than ever. I just truly believe that. So that's a little update I wanted to offer on Brandon Hogue, and we'll update you more as we go here. And like I said, hopefully we can get him on, and I don't know if he's going to be at Texas. Maybe we can even get him on to kind of co-host with me and talk about some racing. A couple other things to watch down the stretch here. With Brandon's injury, Alan Myers is now 5th in points, with Wesley Wolf in 6th, just 5 points back. However, don't look now, but Nick Janusa, who, remember, has finished in the top 5 every year of his professional career in points, is now only 14 points out of the top 5. So that's what I was kind of referencing before. He was, nearly 30 points down or whatever going into Lake Sugar Tree. That's a ton to make up, but with Brandon being hurt, that kind of opens the door because Brandon didn't really get any points, and it looks like he's going to be out. So he's only 14 points down now. So if he can put some rides together, he could very easily find himself in the top 5 before this thing is said and done. So things were looking bleak for Janusa as recently as last week, but Hogue's injury opened that door for Nick, and he'll look to keep that top 4 or 5 point streak alive. Also at the moment, there's a 3-way tie for the final top 10 spot between Jeffrey Rastrelli, Logan Stanfield, and Troy Hill. Jeffrey is coming off the best performance of the year for him, and we know what he's capable of, obviously fighting for podiums, moto wins and stuff, so we'd love to see him get back to that. But that's kind of Jeffrey's story this season, is he's been fighting some things. Logan Stanfield is coming off that top 5 that Travis talked about. He's been flashy but held back by some mechanical stuff, but he's been rock solid. And Troy Hill, speaking about rock solid, with all those top 10s before the mechanical mechanical demons of this last race, but he was solid with top 10, top 10, top 10 week after week. So they all have a kind of a different story, but they find themselves tied in the points with 5 motos remaining. So that should be a fun battle to follow here in the stretch run of this season. 2 of them may end up in the top 10 with Brandon Hogue going down with injury. We'll see with that, but that should be a fun fight to follow. In the Pro Stock class, Chad Wienen won again. He's won every event all season now in the Pro Stock class. And our next guest, Thomas Brown, was second with Wesley Wolf, who followed up that 4th overall on Saturday with a 3rd overall in Pro Stock on Sunday. He rounded out the podium. Speaking of Thomas Brown, let's get into this next interview because I can't wait any longer. Enjoy. All right, guys, we're back with a big-time guest who dropped a bombshell on the ATV racing world a few weeks back. Brought to you by Namura Technologies, Bronco ATV and UTV components, and DID Racing Chain. Here's a current legend of the sport. Say hello to Thomas Brown. What's up, TBrown? Thanks for joining me, man.
Pumped to be on here again, man. Always enjoy listening, and I think this is just great. I think you're bringing a whole lot of media to the ATV MX community, and I'm pumped to be a part of it.
Well, I appreciate that, pal. We'll talk about the stunning news in a moment, but first I have to congratulate you on a 5th podium this season at Lake Sugar Tree. Tell me about your weekend a little bit. Another strong performance for you, for sure.
Yeah, it was a solid weekend. I'm happy with it. The week leading up to it was pretty rough. It just things didn't seem to go right the week before. So honestly, getting into there and getting out there with a 3rd I was super stoked on. I was not so happy with Chad and Joel. Leaving me like that. But, all in all, I'm happy with the 3rd. I'm pumped on it and looking forward to the races. It's anytime on the box is a good time, and I'm always excited for that. It's sometimes you get caught in the moment, and I was like, man, it's kind of embarrassing. Chad and Joel just dropped me. But, man, they're in a championship battle, and we all know that seems to take it to different levels. I'm hoping to, these final few rounds find that level and maybe mix it up in their battle a little bit. But, and they both deserve the respect that they've gotten by being in that championship battle.
Yeah, I think the class as a whole right now is so damn fast. There's a lot to be said about you for getting, 3rd in a class so stacked and, you kind of leaving the rest of the field. So I feel like, a lot of credit is due there. But, how was the track? Because we talked on Friday a little bit. I thought it ended up being maybe more racy than you and I originally had talked about. We were kind of talking at the time that it reminded us of some of the old WPSA tracks, maybe of 2006, 2007. And I found myself thinking about that all weekend as the weekend kind of played out. So I was impressed with Lake Sugar Tree as a whole, and even more impressed with the hard work and the care that the staff gave there. So what did you think about the experience there and the track that they gave us?
I think our experience there was great. As far as, man, the effort the guys put in, they had a cool band all night, which, wasn't my cup of tea, but it's really cool to see that stuff. As far as the track breaking down, I don't think it got a fair shake. And it's nothing to do with the track workers, promoters, nothing like that. The rain they got Friday and what they had to deal with, they did their absolute best, and it was a good track. I think if we go back, I think it'll be even better. I think the split lines will be better. You got to remember, this is their first full-on quad race from what I understand. And they were trying to make it good with some option lines and stuff like that, but they didn't get a fair chance to play with those options because they didn't have Friday practice. So, and throughout the weekend, the track kept getting better. Friday rained out, obviously, or somewhat rained out. Saturday, it was muddy at the beginning of the day. It formed up pretty one line because it was really hard to make passes. But there was options. You just had to make a little bit of contact. And then I raced Sunday on the Stalker, and the track was even a little bit better. I wish the whole weekend could have been moved forward like a day, and we had Sunday's track on Saturday or even Friday, and then I think it would have got better. So I think if they get another opportunity to have an ATV National, I think everybody will be even more stoked on it, and I think they have an idea of what we need. And like I said, man, ultimately the crew and everything did a great job, and those are the promoters we need, is the ones that keep wanting to improve and make the tracks better and help grow the sport.
Yeah, I could not agree more. This is very in line with the conversation we had the other day, and you're exactly right. I thought the track kept getting better and better, and it was just cool to see a track and the ownership group and the that whole deal. It was cool to see them uh, take it so seriously, but prioritize the ATVs the way that they did. So I thought that was really cool. And yeah, like you had another good race, so congrats to you again on that. But we gotta kind of address the elephant in the room. You dropped a bombshell on the ATV racing world when you announced that these last few races would be the conclusion of your professional career. So let's just dive right into that. Take me through that decision and what ultimately led you to deciding to that this would be the end.
Man, it was a lot of factors went into this, and it was a very hard decision. The ultimate reason and the biggest question I've been asked is kind of like why. And the why is just the fact that I'm 30 now, and it's time for me to start a career. And I've absolutely had an amazing career in ATV racing. I love it. I've made a great living doing it, but it's not enough to, future plans and something I can retire off fully. So I need to start looking at a job that, helps me retire and have a future, I guess a future after racing even, but a future in its future as a retirement and just all that stuff. I've always told people, I live a great life. Me and Brandy do good vacations and we have a blast, but we're not putting away money for the future. And that's where I kind of got to look at is I might not even in the next few years make the money that I made racing, but eventually it'll start being put away and start, putting money towards the future. I mean, at some point, me and Brandy want a family and stuff like that. And if I was younger, we could have a family and we could get married racing. But at this point, it's just strictly, ultimately, my age. I'm 30 years old now, and I think it's just time for that next step. And I know a lot of people, continue to race, and I just don't know if I can do it halfway. So that being said, it was time for me to step away just fully. I just need to step away from racing. I don't need to come race part-time or anything like that. It needs to be a clean step. And I guess to add on top of it is I've accomplished a lot of my goals, and I'm very proud of my career.
Absolutely, man. I feel like it's probably, I know that's a difficult decision. I mean, I'm no Thomas Brown. I didn't have a 12-year pro career, but I do know the feeling of closing that, the book on that chapter of your life. And it's not easy. But, however, like this past weekend, you earned your 50th career pro class podium. 50 weekends, you earned a podium spot on the grandest stage in ATV racing, which for my money puts you squarely inside the top 10 of greatest ATV racers of all time. And yeah, like it is like, it's tough to end that chapter because I'm sure like, it's not like that you don't love it. I feel like that's kind of where you're at with this is your love for it hasn't changed. You and Brandy both have I'm sure loved this lifestyle. This is all you've ever done, but I totally can feel it because I can I can feel the feeling in your voice that it's more that you're planning for your family's future. You're planning to grow, as a person, grow as a family, all those things. And you're kind of just trying to set yourself up for that, even though that's a difficult thing to do, to step away from the sport and the life that you love.
Yeah, absolutely. I do love the sport, and I've had phone calls today even of the future of the sport and stuff like that. And even if I'm not going to be involved with it, this sport gave me so many opportunities and so many cool things I got to do. I can't say how much I love it, and I want it to succeed. And until I stop racing, and even after then, I'll be willing to help the sport in any way possible. But yeah, you're right. I do love it, but it had to be a hard decision. And it was a hard decision for Brandy too, because it was ultimately an us decision. We are getting married in the year. Grant, the marriage isn't the reason we're stopping. We could easily race, but it's just the fact that we need to start planning for the future. And I do want a family someday, and it just felt like the right time. I'll tell you a big thing I heard is I know a lot of people, if they listen to a lot of dirt bike stuff, is Ryan Dungey, after his retirement, asked Kevin Windham, before his retirement, like, how do you know when it's the right time to retire? And he said, when you start thinking about it. And at the beginning of this year, I really, for some reason, just started thinking about my future and what it had hold and when should I stop. And then I kind of referred back to that, and I'm like, you know what, that really makes sense. It's the right time. If he's right, and Kevin Windham and then Dungy, and they seem to be very successful in their own rights, and they both love the sport in their own way. But they said whenever you start thinking about it, it's the time. And man, it seemed to really click for me. And I knew it was the time, but I didn't want to stop, obviously mid-season. I just wanted to finish out this year strong. I really, truly enjoy it. And man, I'm like I said, I'm stoked on it, but I am happy to make the announcement and get it off my chest that it will be my last few. And I didn't want to just leave the sport without letting people know that beforehand, because I do feel I need to let the fans know and everybody involved with the sport that, this will be it. It's been a huge part of my life, and I kind of wanted to see everybody goodbye and not just necessarily, one day I'm there and then next year I'm not.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I listen to a lot of that same stuff, and yeah, like I can feel the relief almost in your voice, right? Where it probably feels good, because I don't know about you, but you often like think about like, how is that transition gonna go? Like, how is it going to work? What's going to happen? I mean, when is it going to be time? And when it feels right, like the right time, and then you let everybody in on the decision, I just feel like probably is a relief. So, you won races, you helped lead Team USA to 3 consecutive Quad Cross of Nations titles. The 50 podiums is just ridiculous to me. You were rock solid for so many years. I mean, it's been a hell of a career, buddy. I think it was easy at times to take you for granted almost, or like you were overlooked because you were just the solid third place guy that everybody expected to be there. But man, that number of podiums, all that great stuff, you truly were like acted as a team leader with the Quad Cross of Nations stuff. And I just feel like if you could go back in time and tell little Thomas Brown about the career that you would have, I assume that you probably wouldn't want to change much of anything.
No, absolutely not. It's a big honor, and I kind of breezed over it earlier. You said, a top 10 of all time, and man, that would be that. I have no clue what that would look like and who would all be in that, but for you to even consider me in there, that's a true honor. And man, I'm kind of speechless on that. But yeah, if you told myself when I was young the career I would have, I would be overly stoked on it. It's kind of funny because I think maybe I missed some stuff. Is when I was young, I just wanted to be a top pro. Like, that's just what I dreamed of. I didn't necessarily look at the champion. And for some reason, that just didn't stick out to me. I don't know if it's because I didn't race all the nationals from a young age and wasn't a part of it. So, like, being a champion wasn't necessarily, like, this huge deal to me. But just being a top pro and be one of the best in the world, and definitely the best in the U.S., was just a dream of mine. And I feel like I accomplished that. And that was the ultimate deal. And then as I got older, or I guess not older, but older in my career, and started like, okay, I want to become a champion. Like, I want to be, this is before I even went pro. I do want to be a pro champion, but the ultimate goal was always just to become a top pro. And we made that happen. And then obviously the goals expanded, and I started looking, trying to better myself to be a champion. But ultimately, I'm stoked with my career. There is the championship goal later on. Would have been awesome. It's basically out of the question now. There's one more goal that I would like to see happen. If it does, great. If not, I'm still stoked in my career. But I've always wanted a 1-1 finish. And it's just something I don't have. I have moto wins. I have overall wins. I never had that day where I went 1-1. And if it happens in the next, there's only 2 rounds left that can happen. Yep. So if that happens, it'll be absolutely amazing. If it doesn't, like I said, I'm still stoked on my career. I'm still stoked on everything I put into it. And I don't think at any point I'm going to look back and say I didn't leave anything on the tables. I honestly feel like I worked hard, and yeah, there's different things I probably could have done here or there, but I think I always put my heart into it the best I could and the best I knew how to at the time. And ultimately I'm very satisfied with that.
Yeah, 100%. I love to hear that you kind of are at peace with everything that's went down. Like I said, I think it's a legendary career, to be honest. And yeah, that's kind of where I was going to go. You know, there's 5 motos remaining. And I wanted to know what would put the cherry on top of such a great career. But yeah, I think so. The 1-1 day, I'm assuming, comes from basically like wanting to be the just the clear cut best guy that day. Am I right?
Yeah, for sure. It's just it's very hard to come by, and I'll tell you even now is Chad and Joel have been at the top of the sport for a very long time. It's nothing hidden from nobody. I'm very real about that, as they've always had my number, and some days I can compete with them. But even Chad said, I don't remember which race it was. I can't speak right now, but even in his post, he goes, "Wow, it's been a long time since I've had a 1-1 day." And I think it was Redbud. Actually, it was Redbud, because that's when he went 1-1. And
Yep.
he's like, "Wow, that's been a long time." And I look back and I'm like, "Wow, like, it's kind of crazy, because he's had so much success and so many wins, but for him to have that 1-1 kind of, it's just that extra little thing that just, that day you were the best man. You put it together for 2 motos, and both motos you were the best. I think it's just something cool that if you could have on the resume or having the record books, it would be really cool. And yeah, it's definitely something that would be awesome to have. But like I said, I'm pretty I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna, these last few, I'm not laying up by no means, and it's gonna be all out. But I'm gonna go out there and race, as hard as I can, like I do every time I line up. So if it happens, great. If not, I'm still gonna have my head down and be pushing as far up as I can.
Well, it would be pretty fitting if it could come at the next event, because it comes in your home state of Texas, down in Three Palms, and it's another new stop on the ATV National Tour. You ride there periodically, right? So what can you tell us about that facility?
Yeah, I've rode there. Let's go. Probably about once a year. It doesn't seem like much, but we used to ride there a little bit more when we trained down in Houston and Splendora, which I
Okay.
spent like 2 winters down there. But even then, you ride this back river track normally whenever you go there to practice, and then the races, they race on the main track. It's a good facility, man. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. The track is sandy, and man, I love sand tracks. Everybody loves sand tracks. They get rough. There's always option lines. And I'm really looking forward to that. I think they're going to put a great event on. When we go there with our local series, I think the track sometimes can be beefed up a little bit, but I've no doubt that they're probably going to do that for the national. I mean, I'm talking about a local race to a national. You would expect more at any track. So I think it's going to be a great track. The track alone is going to be great, but if you add the facility in there and what everybody's going to come to this track, it's absolutely amazing. There's a wakeboard cable park on site. There's a river that's similar to kind of Loretta's behind it, which they've just recently kind of like cleared trees out and opened up so you can float down. Obviously, it's gonna be hot, and when it's in Texas in August or even September. I mean, shoot, even October, it's still hot here. So
Right.
everybody between on the track and off the track, it's gonna be a great event, and I'm super stoked for it. I think there's gonna be a lot of people that truly enjoy this race, and I think the track's gonna be great. They have the equipment and the facilities there to make it as good as we want. So I'm excited to see what it has, and man, I hope everybody makes the trip down, because Underground's been known for a lot of years as an amazing facility, and the track is hard to top Underground. It's probably one of the top 3 tracks in the country. But I wouldn't turn your back on this track yet, and come down. Let's all go race. I think everybody's gonna really enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm excited, and I think it sounds like the right kind of track, the perfect opportunity for you to kind of check off that last goal. But I guess we know you leave it all out on the track every time, so I don't expect anything different there. But like the last time we raced down in Texas, at Underground last year, you got the win down there too. So if you can keep the kind of the Texas momentum going, maybe you can kind of click off that 1-1 day, that last goal, and to have it come at home at the home Texas race there probably would be pretty perfect. Maybe just the way you draw it up.
Oh, for sure. And last year at Underground, I threw away the 1-1. Like, there's been races where I I get a second and I'm stoked. But that first moto, I was pissed afterwards, and I came in second behind Joel because I gave it to him. Like, it was a mud race, and I seem to always do good in mud races. I think mud races a lot of luck, and you got to put yourself in the right position, and it can go bad very quick. But it was a mud race, and I hole shotted. I was out front, and I blew one corner, and Joel saw it, and like I pretty much remember it is that we made kind of like eye contact, and we both knew it. And because I like kind of like hydroplane on top of this water, and he shoved it in there, and I pinned it back trying to get back into the line, and we hit, but he had the inside, and I was pissed afterwards, not because of Joel or nothing, just because it was my race. All I had to do is I could have went through that corner in 2 miles per hour, and Joel wasn't going to pass me. But I got in my own head and was pushing and allowed him to get and blew the corner and let him have a mistake. And if I would have had that first moto, then it would have been my first 1-1. But it would be ultimately fitting to, get that result in Texas at Three Palms would just be awesome.
Absolutely. I can't wait to get down there and see how it all's going to play out. It should be really exciting. And Thomas, I can't thank you enough for jumping on here with me. I just wanted to give you an opportunity to kind of, to air what you're feeling, let people know kind of what you're feeling, and kind of give them a little backstory on the whole decision. And, I feel like it had to be a huge and very difficult one for you. But it does make me happy to know that, you feel some kind of relief, or however you want to put it, that you kind of got it off your chest. And now it's just all about focusing, kind of on, ending this thing as strongly as you can. And I think the coolest thing about all of this is that, and I've been saying all season long on, damn near every one of these shows, that you're the best version of yourself this year than kind of you've ever been. I think you're the strongest you've ever been this season, and it's been 12 long years. And, there's a lot of years that seemed maybe very similar, and this seems like the best version of yourself. And I think that that's a really cool and honorable thing, to go out as the best version of yourself. I know you wanted to go out as a champion, get that championship in your, put that in your bag while, during your pro career here, but to end as the best version of yourself is probably the next best thing. And I think as an athlete, you kind of always want that, right? To walk away as, like, if it's not on top, it's your version of on top. It's the on top of the best of your ability. And this is a little long-winded, but I feel like I just wanted to give you credit for everything that you've done, and to end this thing the way you have, being so strong, I think is really special. It started last year, and you've kind of brought it through this season too. You found something, and you put that to the track. And I think that that's a really good way to go out, if, being that this is the end.
I truly appreciate that. And I'm stoked on the season, and I'm, like we talked about earlier, I'm relieved to get it out there that this will be it. And ultimately, it was a very hard decision for both me and Brandy to make. I remember her tearing up whenever we finally posted it, because I think she wanted to stay in it almost more than me, but ultimately it was my decision to make. And there's been tons of talk about why I'm doing it, and it's ultimately just looking at our future. And I feel it's kind of weird that it came on our wedding year, because it really has nothing to do with our wedding. It just has to do with ultimately my age and where I'm at in my life. And I'm ready to start looking forward, and I'm super excited about taking that next step, even though I don't know what that is. I'm excited for it, but I'm really excited for these last 2 weekends and 3 rounds to, end this and have a good time with everybody. And I'm ready for them. I'm excited, and I wish we didn't have this big long break right now, because 3 weekends off is gonna be hard, but I'm ready to get back after it.
Yeah, I think it's exciting. It's going to be exciting when we get back to the racetrack. And, you make it sound like you're not going to go too far away. Maybe we'll see you at some races in the future, or whatever. But ATV motocross will definitely miss you. But you've definitely left a lasting imprint on this sport that will remain long after you walk away. So kind of on behalf of the entire ATV motocross community, you know, we can't thank you enough for all you've done for the sport over the years. And, you know, we just obviously got to congratulate you on a great career and wish you, you know, good luck the rest of the way. And I look forward to getting you back on this thing after your kind of season and career, I guess, has ended, to dig a little deeper into the earlier, you know, days in your racing career, because, you know, I think you got quite the story to tell.
I appreciate that. And I'll be honored to come back on and tell a little bit more of the story. Everybody has their own unique story, so it's always cool to hear. And I've enjoyed the podcast. Cody, you've done great with this, and like I said, it's been a true honor to be on here. And man, you keep pumping these episodes out and keep giving everybody the knowledge and giving the background between, you know, not only the podcast but what you do on social media and all the stuff you put out there. It's absolutely awesome to see. I truly enjoy getting to watch and follow, or listen and follow along. But man, keep it up, and let's all go out and have fun. I got 3 more rounds, 2 more weekends, and hope to see everybody out there and truly stop by and say hi, and, you know, let's go out and have some fun.
Absolutely. You're the man, Thomas. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon, pal. We'll see you down in Texas.
See y'all soon. Good luck. Thanks for having me again, Cody.
Thanks so much, pal. Thanks for the kind words. As the sun sets on Thomas Brown's professional career, it rises on another. Max Lindquist won again in Pro-Am and claimed the championship in dominant fashion at Lake Sugartree. We'll ask him, but the future may be now for Max Lindquist. Let's welcome him back to the show. Now, we had this final guest on after a win at the season opener, and since then he's reeled off 6 consecutive Pro-Am national wins. Brought to you by the folks at Yamaha and Wienen Motorsports. Say hello to your freshly crowned Pro-Am national champion, Max Lindquist. What's up, buddy? Thanks for coming back on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me again, Cody. Really appreciate it. Not too much, just been coming off a great weekend, you know? Not too much else to say about it than it was awesome.
Okay, man, listen. So you're still only 16 years old. Your entire 450 Big Quad amateur career has consisted of 0 losses and 6 consecutive overall wins at the highest level of amateur ATV racing in the world. I don't think you'll ever realize how difficult and impressive it is that you just accomplished, because you made it look that easy.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I probably never will, but just knowing, like, you know, at all these years, been looking up to all these guys in Pro-Am and stuff, and now being able to go out and do what I did, it's been a really cool experience. And, you know, the whole 0 losses thing, like, I don't really pay attention to that. I'm lucky enough to get to run that pro stock class with all them guys, and I get put in my place every weekend on Sunday after Saturday. It's like, oh, we had an awesome weekend, and then you go race Sunday, you get beat every Sunday. It's like, well, we still got a ways to go. So,
you know, I actually did think about that. I'm like, you know, I wonder how Max feels, because he puts on a show on Saturday, and then he's got to go race the baddest dudes in the world on Sunday on stock quads, and maybe it's a little humbling. But I also was like, it's like the baddest guys in the world too. So when you're getting beat by Chad and Thomas and some of those guys, you know, it doesn't hurt as bad, I don't feel like.
I mean, I won't lie, I'm a competitive person. It still sucks to lose. Like, it's not fun to lose, but it is the fact of it, just to get to line up with them and know where you're at and get to just see their pace, and just the things, like, I've learned throughout the year just following, like, Thomas and Chad, like, the 6 inches they move over and the 2 bike lengths they gain out of the turn because of it, like, it's been so helpful for me to take that and use it in Pro-Am. Like, every weekend I feel like I learned something new in that class. So, yeah, it sucks. You know, I come out 3rd, 4th on the weekend. You don't get to win, but at the same time, it's in the long run, it's helping me so much that, I mean, I almost enjoy Sunday more than I do Saturday, just because you're lining up with the fastest dudes in the world on the same gate with them. Like, that's just so cool to me.
Yeah, I was going to mention the stock class a little later in the conversation for exactly that reason. just, I knew that being exposed to those guys, being on the track with those guys, you're going to learn so much. So you led me kind of there already, but like, you're still doing well in that class too. I mean, you're third in points in pro stock, and that's a really prestigious class, obviously. And you got the podium at Redbud. It's a shame that there isn't an actual podium, because you would have had that opportunity to be on the podium with Chad and Thomas. But overall, like, that stock class is such a cool thing. And just like you said, I feel like you can take so much that you learn there and then bring it to Pro-Am, and just putting that knowledge in your bag of tricks, I think, is a big thing. But all jokes aside, I mean, yeah, I was as I was getting ready for this interview, kind of going over it, I'm thinking about all the days in Pro-Am where even I felt like I got my tail kicked, and I'm like, yeah, Max is never going to feel that.
Oh no, I get it. Every Sunday, it's like, man, what are they doing? You just can't quite figure it out. Every Sunday, you get that feeling.
Yeah, well, I'm so stoked for you, pal. Obviously, on the championship, you've been impressing me more and more every week. And actually, Michael Allred and I were talking a little bit last weekend, and your name came up, and he's like, man, he's the most mature 16-year-old that I've ever seen or ever met. So, you've made an impression on all of us, honestly. And even me, who's kind of followed you for forever, because we come from the same area. It's just the growth and the maturity. It's like, it's all happened so fast. It's incredible. So obviously, off the top, I wanted to congratulate you on your title. So tell us about your season a little bit. I know ahead of time, we talked about how Zach Decker got hurt, and that kind of opened the door for, maybe a little more dominant season down the stretch. But tell me about your year a little bit.
Yeah, no, I mean, that definitely played a big role in it. Like, this year, just from the beginning, I really had to grow up. I took that year off, and I think taking that year off just really allowed me to focus on this year specifically, and just grow up and know, all right, this is where I need to be. And I just worked at it. And then we came into this year and had a really good battle with Zach, and then went into Tennessee and had a really good race there, kind of separated myself from everyone, and then did the same at Sunset. Zach was really close all year. Luckily, I think for me, it was more just, I was a little more comfortable at our pace, and I didn't put as many mistakes in there. So I was lucky enough to get away with 3 straight wins. And then unfortunately, Zach ended up breaking his wrist in practice again. So with that happening, I mean, that really helped me out. I mean, I will say it wasn't as great for our championship. I think we had a lot more of those really tight battles like Georgia to come. I won't lie, that is still that is the race of the year to me. That's my highlight, because it was so fun for both of us.
Absolutely. Competition is what makes that memory stand out in your mind, right? Because you had to work so hard for it. So I don't doubt that. I mean, obviously it was your first Pro-Am win, but you had to fight your tail off for that. And I'm sure that's why that kind of stands out in your mind, I would think.
Oh yeah. First win, just the energy from that being our first race of the season, winning it, and it being such a tight battle. Definitely one that will never be forgotten. That'll definitely be the highlight of Pro-Am year. But like you said, competition I think that's what makes it so fun. You come out to compete every weekend. So without having Zach there, that was a real bummer, but still had some other good races and stuff. My competition this year, no complaints. Michael Allred, like you said, love that guy. Such a cool dude. For working full time, comes out and races on the weekend. Dude rips. So that's super cool. It was just all around. I honestly didn't realize it was only going to take 6, but with Zach having his little injury there, it allowed me to wrap it up in 6 here early. So super pumped on that, and just looking forward to the future now.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like we kind of talked about before we hit record on this thing, you guys are, you got to count 7 races. So you have to drop one no matter what. You got a big enough points gap that, yeah, you wrapped up that thing early, extra early. And yeah, it's pretty impressive. So how are we celebrating this championship? More miles on the pedal bike or how are we celebrating?
I don't know yet. I haven't really decided. I won't lie, it hasn't really hit me yet. It's so early in the season that
it is weird, right?
like,
it's weird that because you're like still in season mode because there's 2 races left. So I totally get that. That's kind of why I asked.
yeah, no, I mean, like, I literally got home and Monday I thought about like, like I thought about maybe cheating the diet, like going out for dinner with the family. And then that evening came and I was like, man, like, kind of want to go for a bike ride, like just have a nice like pedal, like went and did a nice like 25-mile pedal or something, and I just cruised at my own pace. Like it was a nice off day, but like I don't know, it was different, like just pedaling and being like, man, like I accomplished my goal, like that I came into the season with. Like it was weird because then all of a sudden it was like, all right, now what do I have to work for? Like so now I've really just like geared up, and I mean I've just started focusing on being ready to go pro. Like so now coming home, it's more of, all right, I got to start working out longer, riding longer. So I've just really been focusing on getting my like body ready to go pro.
Sure. Yep.
So,
For sure. Yeah. So how much do you, because obviously, I can't imagine how much help it's been riding for Wienen Motorsports, having Chad in your corner and that whole deal. So how much credit do you give Chad and give Wienen Motorsports for helping you get here? Because just yesterday, Logan Stanfield even referred to you as the mini Wienen.
yeah, I mean, I definitely props to that guy. Like his whole family, like they're like family to me now. I mean, he's taken me in and just, he's helped me everywhere. Like everyone says, like maturity, like everything, like he's taught me all that. Like he's really helped with just my stupid little mistakes. Like I used to go out on a track and what was a sight lap? I'm 16 years old. Like I jumped this before, like let's jump everything. Like just taking the time and saying, like, he actually slowed me down in some spots to make me overall faster. Like I used to make so many mistakes, and just, we really worked on, he really just helped me with clearing up those mistakes. And I mean, we're still working on it. Like he'll still laugh at me. I still make mistakes every moto, but I mean, yeah, that Chad's came through with, I mean, he helped me with a diet this year. I had never dieted. I'd always done some sort of workout and stuff. Like I always played sports, and then I'd do like some pedaling on my own, but he really helped me this year just getting on a diet program, like how to work out, when, like what's good for you, what's not. And then just riding together. I mean, I'd say that's probably been the biggest help, is me and him get to ride together. I mean, we were down at Walnut the other day together. Like just like that one-on-one time is irreplaceable. Like you just it doesn't even take him to say anything, but just being able to ride with him and study what he does. And then he gives you those few tips that open your eyes to so much more.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. And I can hear Chad in your voice almost, I feel like. And yeah, like some of even the intricacies of watching you ride, I feel like I can see some of Chad's riding style and just little things that you probably pick up on. So take me through a normal week. Like how often do you and Chad ride together on a typical week in the season here?
I mean, not so much now being back home, like short rounds, where you only got 10 days. It's maybe, 2 times, like we'll get together in between that 10-day break. Since we're still 4 hours apart, we don't get to ride together a ton. Like right now where we have like a 3-week to month break, it's once, or twice a week. Like I'll ride with him. It's a couple times between every round. But like I just say, like, he treats me like family. Like he'll keep in touch with me and make sure things are going good. Like make sure I got everything. Helps me with anything. Like, just make sure my program is perfect and I'm ready to go for the weekend. So I would say riding wise, it's like Florida was more like before the season. We rode probably 4 like 4 times a week together. So it was anytime he rode, I was pretty much riding with him. And, you know, like you said, I'm starting to pick up on, like, I kind of look like him, and that's been, like, we've worked on that for probably, I started riding him at the end of my 250 season. So 2 years now I've taken and just learned, like, how he rides and how the machine works. Like, for me, that's been the biggest thing, is learning how, like, the Yamaha is totally different than anything I've ever ridden, like, just how to make the machine turn and, like, how important my body position and stuff is. So he's just really helped with that aspect of my riding style. Like, when I started riding with him, we rode nothing alike. Like, I love to just ride the rev box, rip the clutch constantly, and just burn the tires off.
Yep.
And he would just shake his head at me because Chad's style is so different, where he's so mellow and just very good on his equipment. Like, that's what he's taught me, being out front. You know, if I was out front by 20 seconds before, I was pushing to set the fastest lap of the race still. Like, I never, like, would just ease off.
Right.
And he's just helped me, like, just with my maturity level of, all right, you know, you got a gap, like, think about the bike. Like, you don't have to ride the rev box if you don't have to. Like, be easier on the clutch, like, simple things.
Absolutely. And it's crazy because it took him a lot of years to learn that. So he's kind of helping you. So you're way ahead of the curve. I mean, he was at 16 years old, he was kind of just starting to ride quads on a racetrack. And at 16, you're jumping to, like, I don't know, 10 years or 8 years or whatever it is further into his career, where you're already learning things that he had to kind of learn the hard way, because he was hard on bikes at one point too. So super cool. And it just hit me in these last couple of races that you're riding more and more like him. If you blindfolded me, your throttle control and the way you manipulate the throttle and stuff sounds like Chad. So it's been super cool. So you mentioned the pro class. Can you tell us kind of what's next? Will there be any changes the rest of this season? What's your plan for next season? What are you doing? Can you give us any info?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. Definitely planning on going pro next season. Like, I'm all set to go pro next weekend. Definitely staying on the Yamaha. Still, I mean, Chad's helped me this one so far. Like, I mean, I got to stay with him. Like, so plan is, as now, to stick with Wienen Motorsports and kind of stay on the same program and to go pro next year. Working on maybe making a round this year. Not sure if that's going to work or not. So that's still up in the air. I would love to.
Now, is that a series thing? Because I know there's like an age limit, or where's the hang up there?
The hang up is my age there. So
that's what I thought. Now, there has been exceptions. I remember Cole Sepsi, they made an exception for. So there's been exceptions before. So I'm curious to see what happens there. And that's kind of why I asked, because I mean, I figured you were going to go pro next year, but I would love to see you up there now. I feel like, especially, you know, you're in the mix in the pro stock class, like you've proven like you belong there, you know? So interested to see what happens there, I guess. Do you have a feeling on what'll happen? Like a gut feeling?
You know, I'm not really sure right now. I'm kind of torn on it. I don't really know. It's not up to me anymore, you know? Like, I'm preparing myself as much as I can, you know, pedaling, riding. Like, I'm trying to prepare myself as much as I can, hoping that, you know, I get the go ahead. But if I don't, you know, it's only going to help me for next year. So I'm kind of just sitting back and waiting to see what happens here. I mean, it's totally not up to me. If it was, I mean, I'd be running at the next round they'd let me. So I would just like to get out there just to know, you know, like, I mean, I ride the pro stock class with these guys for 7 laps, and it's like, all right, you know, the top guys are definitely faster than me in spots, but, you know, I would just like to know, you know, how do you stack up right now? Like, I just think to get that race and the nerves out of the way, like going into next year, knowing like, all right, this is what it's going to be like. Yep. And then being able to work on what I noticed were weak spots from if I'd get to go this year. But, you know, we'll see what happens. I guess we'll see at the end of the year if I end up in the pro class or not. So
yeah, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. And I think that's been beneficial for so many guys, me included, going back to whatever year that would have been, 2013, I think, where, I went pro the last couple races, and yeah, like it just all off season, then you kind of know the process. You're able to mentally prepare a little bit. So it helps you. You have an advantage that I never had with being tight with Chad and all that stuff, and being in that pro stock class. I mean, when I lined up with Chad Wienen or Thomas Brown for the first time, it was like, holy crap, that's Chad Wienen, and now you've already done that. You're kind of tight with these guys too, and that probably helps. But yeah, I really hope that happens. That'll be exciting, because you're exactly right. I mean, I think I have an idea of where you're going to stack up, but you definitely want to see it. And I mean, you're still so young, but still for your whole life, you've had this goal of going pro. And I have to believe that, man, you just want to get out there.
Oh yeah. I mean, this year, like the whole focus was pro-am. It was like, let's win pro-am. Like, and now that it's over, like, it's like, all right, I won pro-am. This is awesome. It's like, but now it's like, I look back to that dream as a little kid, like I want to go pro. So now it's like, all right, as soon as I can, like that would be awesome if we can do it this year, just because of the fact, like it's been a dream forever, like just to get to do it would just be awesome. So, and like you said, I mean, I might have an idea of where I'm going to stack up, but it's a totally different ball game just with time qualifying, and like it's just so much more riding in a day than I'm used to. So I think it would just be really good to figure out what that's like, so you know what to train for in your off season.
Absolutely. No, you're exactly right. But I love where your mindset is. I really hope that happens. That'll be really exciting if you can get out there. And man, I'm just so stoked for you. So proud of you for the championship, of course, but also for, how great of a young man you are. You have a great head on your shoulders. And I think the future is extremely bright for you, both on and off the track. So just super pumped for you, pal.
Well, thank you very much, Cody. I really appreciate it. And thanks for everything you do here too with the podcast and everything. It's super cool. So thanks for always having me on.
Oh, of course. Yeah. We had to get you on after the season. And I was hoping we could get a little insight into what was next. So I'm glad we got that, but congrats again on the win. Thanks for your family's support of Digging Deep. You guys got some shirts and stuff. And so we appreciate that. And just know that, man, we're always pulling for you, buddy. You're one of the dudes that we're always kind of following along, and I feel like this is just the beginning, and I can't wait to cover, kind of all your future success. So, yeah, man, just super, super appreciate everything you do to help us, and obviously, thanks for your time with getting on here, and we look forward to having you on again when you blow our mind with your next move, champ.
Thank you, Cody. Much appreciated. We'll see you soon.
All right, pal. Thanks so much. Wow. 4 incredible guests tonight who helped us cover the biggest stories currently in ATV racing. Major thanks to tonight's guests, Joel Hetrick, Thomas Brown, Travis Moore, and freshly crowned Pro-Am champion, Max Lindquist. Thanks as well to producer Dallas Jansen, my brother, who always finds time to fit the podcast into his busy schedule. Thanks, Dallas. Couldn't do without you. Thanks to Brooke, and thanks to AMA official Harv Whipple for all he does to assist us. Thanks to our sponsors, Cst Tires, Yamaha, thanks to Blue Crew, Valvoline, SSI Decals, DID Racing Chain, Wienen Motorsports, the Decker Training Facility, Namura Technologies, Bronco ATV and UTV Components, Evans Waterless Power Sports Coolant, Forworks Carbon, DP Brakes, Gripped Gloves, Blenders Eyewear, Mountaineer Brand, Avocado Green Mattress, Roman Health, Factory 43, and Bikes, Trikes, and Quads, LLC. Support the brands that support our show, and don't forget to use those codes to save. You can find all of our episodes, additional podcast providers, sponsor links and discount codes, our show merchandise, and more all on our website, diggingdeepatvmx.com, so check that out today. And most of all, thanks to you guys for listening. You guys continue to let us know how much you enjoy what we're doing here, and that's what keeps us going, justifying all the hard work we put into this. So many listeners stopped me in Virginia, and I saw so many of you repping our shirts Honestly, it's still so surreal to me that you guys love the podcast this much. You seem to have a passion that matches ours, so thanks to all of you who religiously tune in week after week. You're the absolute best. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and more. Basically, wherever you find podcasts, you'll find the Digging Deep ATVMX podcast. The show is available to anyone and everyone, so simply go to diggingdeepatvmx.com if you need help finding us on your preferred podcast provider. I mentioned our merch, and with fall coming, it's the perfect time to grab some of our fire Digging Deep hoodies. Available for purchase on our website today, you can show your support by wearing our apparel. Digging Deep shirts, hoodies, and more are available with free shipping and all proceeds going directly towards constant growth and improvement of the show. Thanks for all the support and for wanting to represent what we're doing here. Aside from our merch, if you're looking for an easy way to support the show, visit diggingdeepatvmx.com and click the Buy Me a Coffee button to set up a one-time or monthly contribution to help prompt continued growth and improvement of the show. Remember to call our voicemail line with questions, topic suggestions, business inquiries, and more. Our show number is 920-569-3519, so check that out if you want to hear yourself on an upcoming episode. Follow the show on social media, Digging Deep ATVMX Podcast, and myself, Cody Jansen, for additional behind-the-scenes content and insider info leading up to and at the races. You know I love the screenshots showing that you're listening, so send those in, and I promise to keep sharing them. It's a simple and effective way to help spread the word. I love sharing those screenshots. As always, be sure to subscribe to the show, give us a rating, tell your friends, share our posts, wear our shirts and hoodies. This helps us show our reach to our partners, and overall it helps spread word about us while helping grow the sport that we love. So I can't stress how important that is. If you enjoy what we're doing here, take a second to like, rate, and subscribe to help us stick around long into the future. The battle continues at Three Palms down in Texas on September 18th through the 20th. We're going to follow all the battles at the doubleheader and then come back to cover them leading into the season finale at South of the Border. I hope you enjoyed another awesome episode, and if you're new to us, check out our past shows with Chad Wienen, Joel Hetrick, Thomas Brown, Jeffrey Rastrelli, Doug Gust, Josh Creamer, Dustin Wimmer, Gary Denton, Dustin Nelson, and many more. With that, for Joel Hetrick, Thomas Brown, Travis Moore, Max Lindquist, Dallas Jansen, Brooke Catherine, and I'm your host, Cody Jansen. Thanks for listening to the #1 podcast in ATV racing, 1 million downloads and counting. Until next time, thanks for joining us in Digging Deep with the Stars of ATV Motocross.
Those guys were hauling ass, for real.
I remember watching Doug Gus, I don't know who it was, Steel City, running the same times Friday afternoon as James Stewart was on Sunday back then at Steel City.
I would need to check this out.
I'm dead serious. It was mental. I've never seen quads go that fast.
It's not easy, Steve. It's not easy.
Listen, JB, I don't want to hear.
It's not easy.
I don't want to hear.
Quad losers are freaking gnarly.
You don't chew Big Red. What the?